with a spark. The idea of connection, bridging distances, breaking barriers, creating something new. This is the power of secure, next-generation infrastructure. The silent force that powers innovation, protects our data, and connects our people. This infrastructure is more than wires and networks. It's a canvas painted by digital technology, helping businesses in the Cape reach customers in Cairo, giving Africa a global audience, making our cities smarter, our healthcare more accessible, our education more powerful. At the heart of this journey is artificial intelligence, a collaborator that learns, adapts, and helps us solve Africa's toughest challenges. Optimizing supply chains, strengthening communities with data-driven insights, and empowering human ingenuity to reach greater heights. Africa's ascent is not only about growth, it's about balance, progress that is sustainable, innovation that is resilient, a future where technology and responsibility walk hand in hand. This is Africa's Ascent, a journey of unity and possibility, where every connection is a step forward, every innovation a new opportunity, and every challenge a chance to build something incredible. Welcome to the future of Africa. Welcome to Satnac 2025.
Our Master of Ceremonies is one of Africa's most distinguished voices in finance. As a senior anchor at CNBC Africa, she shapes economic discourse globally, connecting the dots between innovation and investment. Please welcome the expert who measures the digital returns on Africa's ascent, Ms. Fifi Peters.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Fantastic. How's everyone feeling this morning? Are we good? Are we awake? Are we alive? Do you know what I must say? I'm incredibly humbled to have joined the professional league of Work Hard, Play Hard these past 3 days. We had a fantastic night last night, of course, but I do know that we are all ready for gear this morning, and so it is time to flip the script on the Work Hard. For those, I know there's a few people who are joining for the first time today. Welcome. My name is Fifi, and it's truly a pleasure to welcome you to day 2 of the Satnac 2025 conference, of course, where we are continuing to code for Africa's ascent and what that does look like. Now, yesterday I did mention the fact that we would begin the session with a few highlights and recaps from day 1. And this is important, particularly for people who are joining us today for the first time. So do I have any volunteers in the room? Anybody who wants to share maybe a key testimonial, 1 or 2 sentences in terms of what did stand out? You can raise your hands. Yes, no. Haven't had enough coffee yet. Some of you have missed breakfast. That's okay, so I'll begin, right? I'll start with my reflection. And I think that for me, what did stand out is a reminder that was shared by the Telecom Group CEO, Mr. Satnac, just reflecting on what is happening right now, this revolution, a technological revolution, digital revolution that is underway right now, but also reminding us that we're all going through it for the first time, this time around, and that Africa is not behind the curve this time around, that we are alongside. I think that another powerful statement and reminder did come from the chair of Satnac herself, Dr. Maki Yankees, who also reminded us that although this revolution is happening and we are not behind the curve, if we are slow to adapt, then we will get left behind, which is, I know, something that we are not trying to do in this room. We also heard that every country, and perhaps even every individual, every nation has its moment, has its season, as it were. And I think that we were all on one page to say that the time for Africa is right now. It's right now for us to create solutions to the many, many challenges that we know we have. But I think that the futurist, Graham, also challenged you in this room to innovate differently, or perhaps even innovate the African way. That it's not necessarily about the incremental changes and the efficiency improvements and the margin enhancements that you're able to make 1, 2, 3, 4%, but it is about creating tailor-made solutions that are uniquely addressed to Africa's problems. As I said, we have many. We've got challenges around energy. We've got challenges around water. We've got challenges around infrastructure. We've got big challenges around unemployment. We've got challenges around the quality of jobs that we're creating. We've got challenges, the list goes on and the list is endless. And so what does innovation look like that is tailored towards the African need? And I think that that is a challenge that was put to you, and I look forward to seeing some of the outcomes that do transpire. I suppose one last thing that I want to reflect on is the fact that even in terms of these innovations, it's not a big ask or a task for the African continent, because we've got many examples in which we have shown that we've done it before. And the most prominent example that was mentioned yesterday was, of course, the innovation around mobile money. But I think that we were all moved by the closing video of what is happening in Phillipstown right now with the wire cars, and what that future and what that story still has to hold or to show. And so it can be done. But when it is done, of course, the speakers as well, Gugu's coming to mind, reminded us that we need to do it in a way that we all come together, that no one is left behind. Because we do know that when Africa creates, we not only create for our own community, we don't only create for our own continent, but we also create for the world. So it does seem as though a bit of Ubuntu, or perhaps even a lot of Ubuntu, is ingrained in our DNA. We create solutions that are for everybody and that lift everybody as we rise. So those are my few reflections. If anyone wants to add on, because I know that I missed a lot of stuff, and I know that information hits us differently, that's what stood out for me. If you do at any point want to weigh in on the reflections of day one, do let me know. If you want to do it privately, do feel free to do so as well, because we are running a poll on the app. Again, please, if you haven't yet downloaded the app, please do so. You can share your reflections on the app, and then we'll be able to collate them all together and maybe even go through them at the end of the day, when we also highlight what stood out for day two. So in terms of day two, do expect similar conversations and similar insights from your colleagues in the industry that will further embolden you and further empower you with the information that is required to stay relevant and even ahead of the curve in your industry right now. Housekeeping rules as well. For those who are joining us for the first time, there's a few Wi-Fi connections that you can get on. I find that the Telkom one 5G is the strongest, so feel free to jump on board that one. The hashtag is Satnac 2025, all in capital letters. Together. Satnac 2025, all in capital letters. Again, feel free to share anything that does stand out, either on the poll or either with your community on... I wasn't aware of this, okay. Research, demos, and presentations. Golf day. Okay. Okay, we'll continue to unpack, and I'll get the details of exactly what that all means. But do continue to, if you feel the urge and the drive to share what is shared in this room with your community in the digital rooms, the hashtag to use is Satnac 2025. With that said, let me get the show on the road, and I'd like to introduce the first topic that we'll be tackling for this morning on scaling open access fiber to build a connected future. And the gentleman who has the privilege of addressing us this morning, Mr. Robert Yorge, Chief Network Officer over at OpenServe. Let's just listen to a little bit of a background on who he is.
This telecommunications veteran, with over 35 years of experience, directs OpenServe's network and services operations and its strategic energy transformation portfolio. His focus is on achieving a green-first, zero-touch network. Please welcome the leader ensuring the high network availability necessary for a sustainable and resilient future, Robert Jorge.
Good morning, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues. I just want to amend the surname and be a little bit specific. It's not Jorge. It's just simple George. But thank you nonetheless for bestowing me the Jorge honor. So Jorge is Spanish, I'm Portuguese, so thank you. So colleagues, good morning. My presentation today focuses on scaling open access to build a connected future. I see I have a timekeeper already running, thank you for that. So, why open access? Well, an open access network fundamentally redefines the traditional telecommunications model. In the conventional approach, a single company or operator builds, operates, and maintains as it delivers services of its own infrastructure. By contrast, an open access model separates network ownership from service delivery, allowing multiple service providers to operate on the same infrastructure you provide under equal conditions. This creates a competitive environment where consumers benefit from greater choice, improved pricing, and enhanced service quality. Competition also drives innovation, as providers must differentiate themselves rather than simply being present. Furthermore, open access networks extends coverage to underserviced areas, helping to close the digital divide and ensure that more people have access to high-speed connectivity. This model lowers the barriers for smaller operators, fostering inclusivity and economic growth as businesses and communities become more connected. At OpenServe, we have built South Africa's largest wholesale open access network. And we view this not as merely a technological achievement, but as our commitment to fairness, inclusion, and enabling real-time digital transformation for everyone. What are the major components or the major building blocks that make up an open access network? It all starts with the central office, and traditionally we know what we call an exchange. It's a traditional term for an old voice type system. This has evolved to a central office, and a central office is really a building which houses state-of-the-art network equipment of the various layers, from the optical layer all the way up to layer 7, not just an old PSTN telephone system as was in the past. But what underpins the central office is stable utility power. Do we have stable utility power? I'll leave you with that question. Also fundamentally important is HVAC, heating, ventilation, and cooling. As we know, electronics generate heat, and you need to maintain a certain temperature. The equipment operates within a certain temperature range. What connects multiple central offices to each other is pretty obvious. It's an optic fiber system, alternatively microwave or satellite. And all these central offices are managed, controlled, configured using OSS, BSS systems, NMSs. But quite important is the teams that underpins the actual physical support of the central office infrastructure. I will just provide a very high-level overview of OpenServe. So, OpenServe fiber network covers roughly 8 million premises within a 5-kilometer radius. We have a pervasive national fiber network which provides network diversity and redundancy. We have over 1,430 central offices. All these central offices are interconnected to the fiber network. Fiber, we have fiber-enabled points of presence in 97% of the local municipalities, but we have fiber presence in every municipality, all 226 municipalities in South Africa. We have well over 2,500 field force experts in the field and service providers we will call upon, who look after our national footprint, not only fiber, but also the actual physical network. We have a number of clients. Interestingly, we have 10 million network elements, active network elements, which from the center, which is the Network Operations Center, polls these devices and provides data points. The overall power consumption of OpenServe, annual power consumption, is roughly 334 gigawatts. Yeah, it's not megawatts, gigawatt hours, which is roughly a 30% reduction over the last 2 to 3 years through a deliberate intervention to consolidate and simplify your network footprint. As you can see, our national fiber network is the fabric of the digital economy. We have a number of premises covered within a 1, 2, and 5 kilometer radius. As indicated, we have fiber presence in 100% of our local municipalities. And quite importantly, we have 34 internet breakout points, which provides that extra level of resilience and redundancy. And should you lose 1, 2, or 3, you kind of are good to go. Underpinning this is our undersea cable landing infrastructure, which is fundamental to the connectivity to the global market, to the global world. We have a network operations and network and services operations center where we have access to local, international, high-level experts. The network is managed and surveilled on a 24/7 basis. Here we also do fundamentally managed services. We have managed services capability and we offer these. Interestingly, we generate over 120 million incidents on a monthly basis and events to ensure seamless connectivity. So there's a huge plethora of data which is generated. There's obviously a view to drive and move towards an autonomous network environment, and what does it actually entail to become autonomous? Operating within a large-scale network like that of OpenServe naturally paves the way for the adoption of autonomous networks. We have millions and millions of different data points. So autonomous networks is a very big topic in the industry at the moment. The business drivers for building an autonomous network will vary from operator to operator. At the TMF, where many of us are members, autonomous networks are defined as an intelligent, self-governing system that can dynamically manage and optimize themselves with minimal to no human intervention. In short, autonomous networks enables feasible scalability, faster service delivery, cost reduction, improved reliability, and the enablement of advanced technologies like 5G, 6G, edge computing, and AI, which all requires ultra-low latency, resilient networks. The TMF has also set level of autonomy and maturity for autonomous networks. So I will go through some of the levels where the TMF identify as a measure of an operator's level of autonomy. There are 6 different layers of autonomy. So effectively, layer 0 to 5. Layer 0 is a completely manual operation. There's no automation, there's no external system, it's all human-driven. Level 5 is, I guess, the other extreme, where there's full autonomy, and the operator has 0 human intervention. There are several entities and operators investigating where they are on this journey, and we in OpenServe are effectively doing the same. There are a number of leaning towards level 3, and even a bigger number that is either level 1 or level 2. On average, most operators are effectively on a level 2 or level 3. This is where the operator drives the network with some automation and the necessary tools to provision services and doing proper network performance management. Humans still make the key decisions. The big change, however, comes from the move from level 2 to level 3. This has a big disruption in operations. On level 2, humans drive operations assisted by systems, where in level 3, this is where the system drives operations, and the human stands by and intervenes when necessary. This is a big shift, and one that would need to be deliberate to execute on. And why I say this, I will cover shortly. Level 4 is where artificial intelligence kicks in. The system does not run on predefined rules and scripts and configuration models and policies, but leverages of AI, machine learning, and large language models. Moving from level 2 to level 3 represents one of the most important transitions for operators that are looking to scale. Evaluation of a network is a three-dimensional thing. We don't evaluate the entire network at once. So we consider the different domains, looking at either the services domain, looking purely at providing or delivering a broadband solution, or an enterprise connectivity solution, or even mobile. In the network domain, you look at the different layers, from the optical layer to the Ethernet layer, to the IP layer, or even the fixed access network layer. And very importantly is operational flow. So it's really the tasking of planning, engineering and build, and even the service provision. So when we start on this journey in terms of moving into the autonomous domain, you need to look at these various domains and see where you intend to drive automation. On the average, as I indicated, most operators are between level 2 in its entirety, level 2 and level 3, 2 point something. Really, it's just halfway in running an autonomous network. Moving from a traditional network operations to a more autonomous model comes with considerable challenges. These are some of the 3 top challenges that we picked up on some of the use cases in discussions with the TMF. It's really network simplification. Unfortunately, we seldom see greenfield networks. These are completely new networks, and those are pretty much easy to automate and move into an autonomous environment. Unfortunately, in reality, with brownfield networks that have been built over the years, and the systems and the process, there is a need to migrate to an environment that is simpler and automation ready. Yeah, the legacy systems, driven by EMS and NMS, makes this much more complex task to achieve. Data availability and its quality, availability of clean data. When we move from level 2 to level 3, and we start with machine learning algorithms, we need a lot of data, which to provide reliable answers, and availability as a barrier at the stage in the migration. And most important for me is really the cultural and organizational resistance. There is a perception of losing control of your network when we move from the levels, mainly from level 2 to level 3. There's still not enough trust in artificial intelligence. The gentleman yesterday mentioned that, the AI hype. So there's not a lot of trust yet in terms of artificial intelligence moving into that domain and what it brings. There's still a fair amount of resistance, and it's a human thing of letting go in terms of control of the network to AI. So effectively, you need to stand by and watch the network run on its own, restore on its own when there's a network break and a network failure, and this happens all the time. You need to stand by and make sure that it does that. Some of the solutions are already looking at the different domains and assessing those domains, and doing what we are doing in OpenServe is a lot of network consolidation, network simplification. Investing data and data governance up front. Data is the foundation of all automation and AI initiatives. Investment in data is key and can be done in a distributed manner. Start with strong data governance. Focus on high-value scenarios. These are Some of the learnings from the use cases we've seen in the world is focus on high-value scenarios. Don't migrate your network all at the same time. Take a simple example. Let's look in the IP domain. Look at fault management, configuration management, performance management. Do those changes. Network changes. Change management is an area where one can, with a bit of effort, migrate to an autonomous environment. These are really just some of the examples that we have seen in terms of driving an autonomous network. Out of all of this, autonomous networks are networks that think green. Globally, we have seen operators shift their primary focus from cost per bit towards power per bit or kilowatt per bit. Autonomous networks amplifies energy, optimization and efficiency, making carbon neutrality more feasible, even at a larger scale. And we've seen this in our reduced power consumption over the last 2 or 3 years in terms of driving network simplification and automation. It's really all about real-time energy control, balancing risk, balancing cost, and decarbonization. Sustainable scalability is good business. It allows operators to meet rapidly evolving demands of customers in an increasing complex environment. The only true way to be future ready is to build in the agility required to scale. For future technologies, as I'd indicated, edge computing, 5, 6G, and artificial intelligence. Colleagues, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your grace, Mr. George. And so we move on, colleagues, to a presentation on accelerating intelligence right now and amplifying success. And the gentleman who has the privilege also of addressing us and whom we have the privilege of hearing from as well, Mr. Amit Sharma, a Principal Consultant Cloud, AI, and Digital Infra over at Huawei Southern Africa region. Let's listen into who he is really about.
Good morning, Satnac leadership, telecom leadership, as well as ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be part of this summit again. And basically, I will be sharing details about Huawei intelligence, basically into the cloud and AI domain. And I will talk more about what use cases in the project which is already done, already implemented, and which are also could be a major driver in African economy. But before going forward, I would like to ask you a question. That let's suppose if Arabella Resort wants to implement AI, then do you think that they should also do it? Yes, of course, they should do it. But the question is, what should be the first project? And I will share my experience, and then you can decide whether this could be the first project or not. So basically, Arabella Resort is having, a beautiful hotel, golf course, and they also has villa. So one of the villa was booked for us, and basically I landed on Saturday evening, late evening, 11:30, and then I came to this place at 1 o'clock. And after that, I checked into the security, I did all verification check, and I was informed that I should collect my keys from the security. So I asked, like, do you have my keys? And he said that you can get it from the security room. So I went to security room. I did all the registration there as well. I got the keys, and I requested security to escort me till the unit. So I, my driver, and the security guys, all three went to the unit. I opened the unit. We all switched on the lights, and suddenly we got a strong voice, who is there in the house? And we started looking at each other. And we saw, and I replied that, this is Amit here. So then, a man, old man with white dog, he was standing in front of us. And he said, how you entered in the house? I said, I have the keys. Who gave you these keys? Security. This house belongs to me. How you entered into the house? And we started looking each other, and we thanked that there was no gun with him. Okay. But finally, then we felt sorry for that. We went out, and I inspected like what went wrong. And I came to know that my reservation was in Benguela Co Estate, which is 10 kilometers from here. So sometimes we think that, physical security can provide us some level of protection. Yes, definitely it provides us, but it is not the end-to-end security. Definitely, we should look for digital transformation in every area where we work, and this is also one of the areas. So this is what I would like to suggest to Alabera, that, you should, the first project, if you want to implement on AI, this should be the first project. Anyways, let's move forward. In the AI industry, like AI computing is changing very fast, and same is with AI development. In the AI computing, we have seen that, AI computing is growing by a one scaling law to now multi-scaling. So you have multiple agents available, which is scaling at a very fast rate. In AI development, we have seen, AI perception, based AI, we have seen AI reasoning, and now we are seeing agentic AI. So with this advancement, more and more agentic AI ecosystem is getting built, and that is the best way to adopt it into your organizations, bringing in view that what business cases you have. We are also seeing robotics and various, drone-based economy as well. So this economy is growing at a very fast, and in the next 10 years, I'm sure that this will be adopted deeply into the ecosystem, and we will see more intelligence into it. Now in Huawei Cloud, we are committed for developing cloud AI services and adopting it into the ecosystem. And we do this basically through our strategy of Cloud for AI and AI for Cloud. So in Cloud for AI, we do system-level innovations where we develop product and solutions, especially the infrastructure one, and then we adopt it and we embed it into our cloud AI ecosystem. We provide it as a service to them, to the users. Now, technically, we differentiate ourselves by developing and providing a customer choice for security, stability, and quality. And then we differentiate ourselves by providing Couvers with high availabilities and low latency, by providing advanced cloud-native services, foundation AI technologies as well, data AI-based convergence, and definitely cloud network synergies. I will be talking more about it in upcoming slides, but based on that, ecosystem is also equally important. And we generally partners with our partners as well as our customers to innovate jointly. And then this brings a complete end-to-end digital transformations and AI adoption across the organization.
In transportation,
so let me give you a use case which is into the transportation industry.
By powering inspection robots, enabling them to scan all 32,000 detection points on a 16-car train, accurately identifying more than 350 faults across 8 categories. This approach is significantly more efficient and cost-effective than the traditional method. This is thanks to the Pangu model's ability to segment anything and detect anything. The model can accurately identify complex fault conditions, such as overloading, foreign objects, deformations, missing parts, damage, fractures, oil leakages, and loosened parts. It reaches over 90% accuracy right out of the box. What's even more impressive is that through multimodal integrated diagnosis, combining 2D images, 3D point clouds, and laser spectrum analyzers, The model can detect anomalies that even experienced technicians might have overlooked. This multimodal approach can push the accuracy of fault detection to over 98%. Huawei Cloud is working with customers and partners to integrate the Pangu high-speed railway model into all high-speed rail production systems. Together, they are accelerating the intelligent upgrades of China's world-class railway infrastructure.
So this was one of the use cases which we implemented in not just high-speed train, but also in subways as well as normal train. But when we talk about implementing such use cases using multi-model across industry in the transportation sector, so we have also collaborated in South Africa with Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, and here we built a AI management based system, which is a RAG database, and this enhanced the performance and efficiency. Then we also implemented this into intelligent port planning, and there is a very big port company in China, and we worked with them, collaborated with them, and implemented two main use cases. One was related to the scheduling of the ship and scheduling of the containers, and other one was related to preventive maintenance. So this definitely increased the vessel time to the port, basically decreased the vessel point to the port by 10%, and hence increasing the efficiency. Then we also worked with the airport company, basically Shenzhen airport company, and we have seen that the business problem was that because of flight stand allocation time. So sometimes flight comes before the time or it leaves after the time, and it is standing at the airport. So as it is standing at the airport, then you need to your passengers, you need to transfer them using the buses. So this was the business problems, and we worked on intelligent scheduling mechanisms, and here we reduced that time from 4 hours to 60 seconds, and then 2.6 million total passengers in a whole year are not using now those shuttle buses. So this definitely increased efficiency as well as the cost as well. Now, we talked about sovereignty yesterday, and that is really very, very important. And to provide a sovereign cloud and AI-based sovereign cloud is really very important for every African countries. So keeping that in view, we worked with over 800 cities across the globe, and these cities are spread across different countries to provide them government cloud. So this government cloud comprises of end-to-end cloud stack and also the AI technology. And with this, if I see like in China, Huawei is #1 into the China cloud market. So we also worked on various smart city projects, and Shenzhen is one of the city which is, recently got award for the smart city in 2024. And this award is generally given to only one city across the globe. So Shenzhen got it, and we worked with various AI projects with them. And digital twin was one of the projects where you can ask any questions related to different scenarios, and this digital twin will be able to answer it. Now, moving forward, in the finance domain, we are also working very closely with our financial customer, and especially helping them to modernize their core systems and migrating their core systems on the cloud. So here we are also #1 into the China market, especially into the finance infrastructure market. And we are continuously working with other financial companies also across the globes to modernize their applications, moving it to the cloud. So the major innovation which we have done here is that in-place cloud OS upgrade, as well as fully encrypted database, and also end-to-end trace. These are the three major innovations which is done recently. And moving forward, in the finance domain, as you know, AI agent based on AI technologies is really very, very important nowadays. And enterprise generally see that whether they can convert their offerings into a MCP-based marketplace, and then from there, whether they can integrate it to the AI ecosystems using various agentic platforms. So with this business challenge, we developed a tool which can convert your APIs into the MCP automatically. And also we develop an agent platform where you can develop your end-to-end agentic AI workflow. So you can have many scenarios of your agentic AI, and then accordingly you can make a sub-agent flows as well, and you can implement end-to-end solutions to solve your business problem. So this is a very important use case, keeping in view that when it comes to a super app targeting your customers, and also when it comes to agent platform solving the problem of your internal customers, then these kind of capabilities are really very important, which is already developed and already working in many financial companies. In retail and e-commerce is also a very big market actually. And we worked with Mia Jia, which is actually a very big convenience store in China. In total, they have 38,000 stores, and every month almost 300 stores are launched. These are new stores. And with them, we worked on a way that how we can digitalize the whole end-to-end processes, especially the supply chain, inventory management, and also precise marketing. When they implemented this end-to-end project, definitely they found many benefits and about it. But the most important thing is they developed many stores where there is no human. So it is 100% human-free. So the customers are going, chatting with the digital human, and if they have any queries, getting the answer from them, making the digital payment, and there is no human into the store. So this definitely helped them to, save a lot of cost as well, and also, enhance the customer experience. Now, in Huawei, it is very important for us to strategically differentiate ourselves based on cloud, network, and device synergy. This is also a strategy where we collaborate with cloud, network, and device together to build an end-to-end ecosystem and solution to the customer. So you can see there are many devices which are here connected to Huawei Cloud, and this ecosystem is continuously growing. Here, all the applications or the processing capabilities are available on cloud, which means that cloud is processing AI, as well as cloud is processing their data, and they are taking decisions there. And they are connected using very low latency 5G or even 5.5G network. So few use cases are quite common, and we also implemented this in Africa. And to share with this, in China, it is growing at a very fast rate. Cloud mobile phone, which is basically a very low-cost mobile phone, which is a 4G-enabled phone. And as it is at lowest cost, adoption is at a very fast rate. So generally, 4G phones are available more than $40, $50. But there is a big portion of people in every country where they cannot afford this, and they are still on 2G and 3G network, and with 2G and 3G network, they are not able to enjoy the data and digital services, and hence they are behind other people. So this is the solution where at $15, this solution is provided to the users, and all the applications and the workloads are running on the cloud. Likewise, we developed cloud storage as well, and we developed 190 million user in China, and we are also working with many operators here to develop this ecosystem. Now, let me share some information or a view about what we can do in the telecommunication. Definitely, Mr. Robert shared about autonomous network, but agent AI and Copilot is also one of the important things which we can do, wherein your customers are contacting you using a chatbot, and which is answered by AI. So this AI is basically will be able to solve around 70% of your problem. And for the rest 30%, then the transfer can be given to a human call, which is human agent. And then that human agent might be able to solve around 20-25 of the problem. So overall, 95% of the problem can be solved using this. But for rest 5%, you can summarize, share the intent, send it to the backend, and then backend team can solve this problem. So at one end, it enhances the customer experience, and it also decreases your total cost of operations. So this is the agent platform or a Copilot project for keeping in view the customer experience enhancement. But when we go into the operations, then AI Copilot is also needed for solving the business problems. So one business problem is sometimes CXOs don't get an exact view of what is happening into the network, and they're dependent on their on their resources, especially analysts, to provide those information, and it takes good amount of time. And as it takes time, the response and decision process also delays. So data chat for CXO is basically a chatbot for CXO, wherein CXO can ask any questions related to the network, and they will get the data immediately in the form of the report, and that will help them to do a decision very fast. So that is one of the AI project which we did here, and then the another one is related to complaint handling. Now let's suppose you as a user, a mobile user is basically roaming around the cities, and you felt that at some places your network is not good. So when you raise this issue to the backend team, basically to the customer care, they will see that okay, from a network point of view there is no issue now, and they don't know what happened in between. So basically, this chatbot is then able to integrate with all the network element to fetch the data and to take the decision and giving you the precise information that this person was moving from this place to this place, and in between there are 3 to 4 points where the network is not good. And then you can align your network configurations to provide better connectivity there. This is just one of the scenarios. Likewise, there could be many other scenarios also can be implemented here. And this is already available as part of end-to-end solutions provided by Huawei. I would like to share one more use case related to AI Copilot.
Marketing Copilot automatically output campaign suggestion, which support precise marketing. Taking the 5G user development scenario as an example, when marketing campaign designer asks how to identify potential 5G users, Marketing Copilot automatically analyzes and outputs the key attributes of target users, such as users with 5G terminals, users' locations with 5G coverage, and users with high DOU. Then, Marketing Copilot automatically sets filter thresholds for each attribute. Finally, generates filtering rules for the target customer group. Based on these feature rules, Marketing Copilot will automatically generate scripts, calculates and filters out the target users. By clicking on Activity Design, Marketing Copilot will automatically match the pre-configured packages in the system for the target user group, match the marketing event, and recommend marketing channels for reaching out to users. It also presents complete marketing strategy information, which support precise subscriber and package matching. Finally, by clicking Generate SMS Content, Copilot will output the SMS content automatically. Besides 5G user development, Marketing Copilot supports more than 20 common scenarios, such as WTTX user development, mobile money user development, and 4G user development.
Okay, so basically in marketing, it is very important that we should know that who is the right audience for your product, and which is the right place, and also what should be the offer for that product, for the people and product, and also what should be the right channel. So these 4 business problems are solved using AI via AI Copilot project, and this is also deployed in many operators across the globe. Now, in Huawei, basically, we are committed for building and fundamental AI capabilities. And you can see, like in recently, we have developed a cloud matrix AI solution, which provide a perfect collaborations and interconnections between NPU, CPU, GPU, and also memory, PL, and DPU. So with this, on an infrastructure side, we have already developed a lot of AI capabilities with very high performance computing. And on the model side, we collaborating with the industry and also developing our own large language model. So Huawei large language model is named as Pangu, and it specializes in 7 industry segments. So we have developed an industry solution based on this large language model, and especially in manufacturing, finance, public services, healthcare, pharmaceutical, automotive, and meteorological, this platform stands #1 in China market. On the other model, almost 70 plus other models are supported on Pangu, and DeepSeek, we have a strategic collaboration. So industry can choose an end-to-end cloud services on top of it, and platform for for configuring as well as training app and inference purposes, and also developing an agentic AI workflow on it. So this hardware is recently launched this year, and as I said that this provides a perfect collaboration between different hardware components, and we have a unified bus which is attached to it. And especially the most important thing is that when it compared with NVIDIA 72, it outperformed basically. So the performance is almost 67% higher, and 107% higher in terms of the bandwidth, and 113% higher in terms of the bandwidth, total memory actually. So you must have seen that in this year, and you can search on the internet as well. NVIDIA CEO, in the interview when this question was asked about Huawei, this hardware, so he praised hardware about its performance and the innovations which Huawei is doing. So this is the hardware where we provide very high performance as well as high bandwidth and high memory for AI training as well as inference related workload. With DeepSeek, we also did a strategic collaboration with DeepSeek, and any user or any customer can choose DeepSeek on Huawei infrastructure and develop the AI workflow there. So almost 600 plus customers are already available here, and it comprises from various industries, and the business problems are related to intelligent assistance, intelligent search, and many such problems and use cases are implemented as part of DeepSeek solution. In case of Pangu, which is our large language model, we launched it a couple of years back, and we provided a latest version 5.5 recently, and we also open sourced this model. And with this model, there are various foundation capabilities or foundation models are also developed as part of this end-to-end solution. And you can imagine and mimic it as part of your human brains. And with human brains, there are multiple, other capabilities are also, which our brain processes in different ways, basically. And there are various kind of large language model and technologies are invented based on that. Now, in terms of performance, when we also compared the performance with ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, and also with Gemini and DeepSeek, and in many areas, the performance of Pangu model was really very good actually. Now, coming to the use cases, in Pangu we have a prediction model as well, and we recently developed a triple transfer technology, and which is an architecture. And then we implemented it into various industrial scenarios. So Baowu is one of the largest steel company across the globe actually. And we worked on many processes here to help them to use AI. And we basically increased the performance efficiency of hot rolling process. So that is one of the process, hot rolling process in steel company. And with that, they saved more than $12 million annually with this. We also implemented it into the cement industries, aluminum industries, and solve various kind of business problems. So some business problems were to automate and as well as decrease the repetitive task. And some business processes were related to reduce the carbon footprint. So in coal company, we basically decreased the carbon footprint by 4,800 ton per year. So this actually gave a lot of benefit to that company. In the computer vision, many projects were implemented there as well, and some were into coal companies, some were in oil company, and some were into government as well. With oil companies, sub-meter level precision was developed, and this helped them to reduce the various incidences which generally happens on a regular basis in such big industry. Then we also worked on other models basically. Just a minute. Okay, multimodal as well. So in this, we collaborated with South China University and helping them that how AI can solve the architectural problem. So we got various conceptual design. With that, we trained the model and we then visualize it. So with visualizations, you get a better understanding about your model, and at the same way, we can fasten the process of the development as well. We also developed a scientific computing model, and this we developed along with getting the data from European Center for Medium Range and Weather Forecasting Department. And here, basically, if you see a traditional way of processing and taking decision, into this weather forecasting. So for 7 days of predictions, you need hundreds and thousands of servers to process it and give the prediction. So with this, we just use one NPU, and that decision time was also reduced from 6 hours to 10 seconds. So it is quite fast when we use GPU-based, NPU-based computing. And then we also used it into the drug industry, basically for innovation of new drugs. And for that, we tie up with one of the affiliated hospital of Xi'an University. And generally, this process also takes years for development of the drugs. And with AI models, they were able to do it in a very short duration. Around a month time, which generally takes years time. We also implemented it into a medical research where medical diagnosis is possible because of the large language model. Then after, we also implemented into, we also did a tie-up with the GAC, which is one of the Chinese automotive company, and to develop an autonomous driving of that car. And then we also made it open for other companies as well. Then it's not just about what we are doing here, but we are also trying to explore into a space program as well as into a planet exploration program. So we received images from when we collaborated, then we provided this model for training of images from Mars, basically for a project wherein rover can automatically take the decision when it is going to different planet. So this is also one of the projects which we have done. Now, in terms of connecting the end devices, which is very, very important. So connecting the end devices using various technology and processing it over cloud and AI is also important for a manufacturing industry. So we developed some protocols which can connect to the end devices, and then the platform is developed on top of it. So there are many use cases, like one is the spraying of the car. So basically, when a manual robot does it, then it is based on the pre-configured scenarios. But when you do it on AI, it becomes more generalized, and then you can use it into multiple scenarios. So likewise, material handling robot, a surgical robot as well as various inspection and O&M robots were developed based on this platform. There are use cases where we worked in the mines, and these were the open pit mines. And the vehicles were developed wherein the vehicle don't have any driver seat. And here cloud, AI, as well as network collaborate together in taking the decision. And based on that, you can do various activities inside the mines. So this project also we did with one of the mining company in China. Then coming to Africa, we also bringing these innovations in Africa. So in Madagascar, we worked with one of the NGO, which is Matai. And the problem was that, that country is, most of the population is also dependent on fishing. So generally they go to ocean for the fishing, and they go there for many days actually. So if they don't know about the weathers, then this can bring big problems in case of cyclone or any other bad conditions of the weather. So we did this project to implement weather forecasting model, which is quite precise, can do it at a very small duration with very precision as well. Then we also worked with Canyon Coal Mine. And there we help them to increase their, increase the ore production by 25%. We also worked with Zambia in Zambia with the Zambian University. So we worked with basically 11 universities in providing online AI-based education solution. So these solutions provide hybrid teaching, it provides AI proctoring, and it provides teacher online trainings as well. So this is well appreciated, as this platform can reach to the last student of the country, which is sitting at a remote place, just by giving the connectivity and the device. So these are the 3 projects which we did as part of Africa program, and we are also working on other projects here as well. So before I conclude, I would like to show you a video, and as a conclusion of this.
As industries embrace digital and intelligent transformation, there are a multitude of innovation requirements from consumers, households, enterprises, and other organizations. Such requirements represent huge opportunities vir elke organisasie om hierdie geleenthede te benut en om uit te staan in transformasie is wolk, data en KI noodsaaklik. Die sleutel lê in hoe ons strategiese besluite neem, die rol wat ons wil speel te identifiseer, asook ons organisatoriese strukture in lyn te bring en dan strategieë in werking te stel. Ko wawe, pono le maikemisetso to arona ke ho kisetsa motho e mong le e mong technology, le ha en le leng le le leng, le company nngwe le nngwe, bakeng sa lefatshe le hokhaneng ka botlalo le bohlale. Wawe Cloud e na le moya o, gomme e ikemiseditse go soma le bareki ba rena le balekane ba rona go aga thekenoloji ya cloud bakeng sa lefatshe le bohlale le phetogo e botlhale ya dikgwebo. The road ahead is long, but we will make it if we keep moving forward.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure like these innovations are actually which is already done. So it's not into the planning phase. And I've gone through various paper presentation, and I'm sure that there are, I saw many projects which when they conceptualize, these are already implemented and there are a lot of improvements needed on it. And we also got insight from those projects, and definitely you will see new innovation next year, and that will not just be on paper, that will be actually deployed into the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amit, there, just sharing all the areas where intelligence is being applied. The practical examples that you do have on the go, I found them quite fascinating. Thank you. How do we rate the Afrikaans? 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Quite different from the what's it? Yoche, right? Yoche. And I recall yesterday's the AI video as well with a bra AI. Hey, and it just speaks to the importance of those data points there and getting our languages right. Let's take a pause. Let's take a bit of a recess right now, about 20 minutes or so, to freshen up, re-armor. Also, if you haven't had the opportunity to engage with all the students and their exhibition area, you can do so. We will reconvene at around 10:30 or so. I think that's good. So see you then. Thank you.
control system, similar to what we have seen before. If this control system is not reliable and so not available, you will compromise all the, how can I say, purpose that these agentic AI are built for. And the other one is security, right? So security for similar reasons. So we are exchanging data to train the models, and of course, we have to make sure that we have a sort of integrity of this data, because if those data are in some way corrupted, of course, also the risk is that the results of the training will be also in some way corrupted. And then when we speak about inference, so when we are doing inference, again, remember that it is the phase where we are interfacing with these models. And if we have this, the corruption of those data, again, the result could be compromised. And then also most important is that most of the time we are exchanging in this inference interaction also data that are very, very sensitive. So again, when we speak about connectivity for data centers and artificial intelligence, the security, so the capability to protect the data with respect to possible, attempt to either corrupt or stole the information is becoming paramount. And nowadays, it is even more becoming more important because we are entering also the so-called quantum era, with the advent of quantum computer that are promising a computational power that is far, far higher with respect to the traditional computers. Again, this is a good news for us because we can use this computational power for a lot of interesting purposes, for example, in trying to defeat historical diseases that we have or to tackle the challenges that the climate changing is bringing. But you can also use this computational power to try to eject all the encryption mechanisms that we have used so far. So the good news is that we have already technology that are able to make our optical network quantum safe. And quantum safe means that already today they will be able to be resistant to attacks given by quantum computers, despite the fact that quantum computers are not yet available. But it is already important to protect our data for the so-called harvest now, decrypt later concept. So if there are certain type of informations that could be still valuable and sensitive if stolen and then decrypted, for example, in 5 years. Imagine, for example, to all the information that is exchanged with respect to state discussion between that are very relevant, also with respect to information that is regarding ourselves. So here, what is important is that, again, we have to act in some way to make our optical network quantum safe, and what we have to do is to do this now. The good news is that we have already solutions to do this, and we can do this at the optical layer, that provide several advantages. Two of them is that since we are putting encryption at the lowest possible level, this encryption is in some way agnostic with respect to the type of traffic that we are carrying. And the other thing is that this is an encryption that basically is not adding any additional latency to our stream of data. And again, we saw before how latency is becoming more and more important. So we have more or less understood which are all the ingredients for an optical network deployed for artificial intelligence. So capacity, reliability, dynamicity, latency, and security. Now, if we, again, talk about the super cycle that I was mentioning before, so the question is now where we are in this super cycle. And we see from this slide that what we have seen so far and what we are observing is that mainly what's going on is the build-out of very big data centers that I was mentioning before, mainly for the training phase. But then we are already moving to the next phase, that is how we can monetize those models. That is, again, the inference. So basically to make the models that have been now trained consumable by the end users. And this is the result of a study that was done by the Bell Labs that is showing how What is expected to significantly grow is the traffic due to inference. And who will be called to handle this traffic are for sure still hyperscalers, but more and more CSPs and enterprise. With enterprise that more and more will also seek help to CSPs to carry this critical connectivity. And again, this will affect all these segments of the network, from core to access. And therefore, what we have to face is a sort of hierarchical structure of what we can call a network for artificial intelligence, where you can see you have also a mixed between traditional traffic and artificial intelligence traffic, from the core to the access, with the deployment of several data centers that will now combine both the training and the inference phase, and will deploy with different sizes according to the specific process that workload process that they have to do, and of course with a sort of reduction in size as much as we are coming closer to the end users. So you will have this, how can I say, deployment of different data centers, and basically the distribution of the AI workload will be done on a per latency requirement basis. Okay, so you will have all these models that are spread, and of course what you have to do is to select the right latency to be able to satisfy the requirement that the model is and the application is bringing. So here the call to action is that we have to make sure that our optical networks are becoming ready for this, either adapting the architecture and the capacity of we have already deployed, or deploying a connectivity that is made on purpose for those AI workloads. So AI is not only concerning connectivity, but it is driving an overall infrastructure transformation with the deployment of, as we said before, new data centers. So there will be also a lot of challenges and implications for who is managing the so-called real estate. And what we will see is that there will be also new services that those overall AI infrastructure will bring, that are, for example, the GPU as a service, the network as a service, or AI as a service, that are posing a good opportunity also for CSPs and enterprise for partnering, because all these services, of course, has to be complemented with a premium connectivity with all the characteristics that I was mentioning before. So if we enlarge a little bit the view, the opportunity is, again, overall speaking, for Africa. So Africa, as you can see here, is playing a key role, because it is in the middle between the two main flows, of data flows, that are going from east to west, from south to north, and vice versa. So we are seeing today that there are a lot of submarine cables that are coming to and landing to Africa, and therefore this also posing the requirement to backhaul all this big capacity that is coming from the submarine. So backhauling, but also there is also an opportunity to build the so-called corridors, right? To provide either a sort of shortcut with respect to this submarine routing. Again, the shortcut is in some way useful, because it is cutting dramatically the latency. And again, we know how latency is important for this AI connectivity. But then it is also providing a sort of backup route in case you have a failure of the submarine cable. Okay? So we are building these corridors also for this purpose. So we know that submarine cables are a very precious, how can I say, resource, but they can be keen to either failures, but also sabotages. And we have seen also, for example, in the Red Sea area, how this is becoming, unfortunately, very, very frequent. So big opportunity for Africa, and Africa, as we said several times during these days, is playing a key role in this artificial intelligence era. So we have a network for AI, but we have also AI for networks. Okay? So AI is also enabling our network to become able to sense, think, and act. So together with automation, we have a lot of AI-driven analytics that we can use to better understand what's going on in our networks. So in this case, in this way, we can even prevent failures in the networks. We can better use or make our network greener, so with an optimization of the power consumption of our network. We can better predict the capacity that we will need in our network. And what we can do is also to better use the resources that we have in our network. For example, with the capability to optimize how we are streaming data in the network, and therefore this means also a better optimization of our network. So we have also artificial intelligence that is embedded more and more in our networks. So we have also agents that are acting as a sort of companion when we are operating the network. For example, helping us with the knowledge base, so we can ask questions with respect to the product specification instead of going to look for across all the handbook for this information. They can help us, for example, also to troubleshoot issues. Okay, so if we receive an alarm, instead of trying to figure out what's the cause of the alarm, we can simply ask some, advice to the artificial intelligence that will propose to us a remedial action to quickly repair the failure itself. And then we have also an important thing that is fiber sensing. Okay, so again, together with artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can use our wavelengths as a distributed sensor that is already embedded in the network. So basically, we can use, again, the transponders, in this case that we are already using to carry the big amount of data that we mentioned before, to sense what's going on not only in the fiber itself, but also around the fiber. In such a way that, again, what we can do is to implement a sort of proactive maintenance. So instead of waiting that an excavator is approaching, what we can do is to sense this before, recognize that what the network is sensing is, showing that this is something that is going to happen, and then automatically we can take corrective action, for example, to proactively reroute traffic to a route that is not affected by this potential fiber cut. So in conclusion, so artificial intelligence is bringing an incredible amount of traffic growth in our networks. So this requires optical networks that are optimized in terms of bandwidth, in terms of latency, in terms of security, in terms of resilience. So we are in between a high super cycle. So this is bringing, of course, challenges, but we have seen that this is bringing a huge amount of opportunities, and therefore we can say that AI is making the future for optical networks very bright. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much to you, sir, as well, giving us a snapshot of what is going on within the Nokia organization right now and the lens that they're applying to a lot of the innovations that are underway. Essentially building on the knowledge sharing that we have experienced so far today and the peer exchange. And we continue with that this time hearing from Cisco and what is happening over in that end. And we do have the privilege of hearing from, at this present moment in time, Keshen Atimulam, Senior Leader Solutions and Engineering for Sub-Saharan Africa at Cisco Systems.
Lead of Solution Engineering for Sub-Saharan Africa at Cisco, Keshen is a transformational leader specializing in leveraging advanced technologies, including AI, Gen AI, and edge computing for strategic business outcomes. Please welcome Keshen Atimulam.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the telecom executive, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's truly an honor and privilege to be here. And it's been very insightful over the past. It's my first Satnac, so I've had a great time, learned a lot myself. and I'm hoping to contribute and follow the theme and maybe teach you a little bit of what we're doing at Cisco and how we're innovating in the age of AI. I've taken a book out of Sarame's page yesterday. My topic was going to be around, please, I like to walk around, so please apologize, I'm not going to stand, right? Was around automation and observability in agile service and networking. So very much the theme of the last 2 days, with a lot of our speakers talking about infrastructure, both data center and also outside plant infrastructure. But I've noticed that something was kind of missing, which is the security. So this was my question initially. Are companies truly ready to leverage the power of AI? And I've now altered the question to say, are companies, or do companies have the infrastructure or the applications to be able to secure the AI workloads, right? So to understand from a security perspective how we can actually increase the security posture to address the new threat landscape that AI poses. So how do we use AI to address threats from AI? So Cisco actually is very proud to say that we launched what we call the AI Readiness Index about 3 years ago, around 2023. And the index basically canvasses about 30 countries to date. So we've done it this year in 2025. It was released about 2 months ago. And what it does, it looks at the specific countries' readiness to be able to deploy AI, right? And there's 6 pillars that we've used to calculate that index. As you can see, the first one is strategy, which basically defines, does the business have the right strategy to be able to meet the AI demands? Infrastructure, my colleagues and fellow speakers have mentioned this. Do you have the infrastructure, both data center, both fiber, to be able to cater for AI workloads between locations from central office all the way to end users? Data, which is the integral part of AI, right? Because it's all about the data. Do you have the data processing, the data detection, to be able to handle AI, to be able to process that data at those mega flops that my previous speaker was talking about? Governance, I think the speaker from yesterday, the lady from Amdocs, mentioned this about data sovereignty. How do you have governance models to cater for the new AI models, the new way AI is flowing through your network, and to be able to make sure it's secure and that the data has the integrity to be able to process? And the last two, I think, go hand in hand, and it's very specific to what we see in emerging markets like Africa, is how do you actually retain talent, upskill and reskill talent, and then how do you create a culture of where you're moving past traditional culture of manual actions or very high-touch environments to low-touch and using AI models to be able to do some of the work. Now, we have a global AI readiness index, but we also, because we're quite privileged in Africa, our chief people officer is actually our executive sponsor. So she's chosen South Africa to actually look at what is the AI readiness for South Africa specifically. So it's across 26 industries, all the way from healthcare to public sector to education, and we've canvassed all of that. And if you can see, this was released, like I said, 2 months ago. It's 2025. We have 4 categories. So we have pace setters, we have chasers, followers, and laggards. So, laggards is basically people that are lagging behind, right? So the pace setters are what we are looking at. And this is a very interesting one. When I saw it, I was actually proud, but I was also a bit trepidous, because I was like, South Africa is leading, or should I say above the global average than the rest of the world. So, if you look at pace setters, it just shows that 1 in 5 companies in South Africa actually have a very solid AI strategy, and that they're leading with AI, which is great. And even if you look at chasers, that's quite high as compared to the global average. So this shows that, maybe I'll disagree with, I think it was Graham, the futurist, who said they want to be obviously AI equality, that South Africa will be on the same level. It looks like we are probably a little bit ahead of the rest of the world, right? This is some cool stats where, everybody's been talking about data, and we know that we need to process a lot of data. And now, after 2022, there's, in the last 12 months, when you talk about AI, you talk about tokens. we've seen over 1,000% increase in number of tokens being processed. That's both at a local level on-premise and also with hyperscalers, CSPs. We've seen the advent of something called neoclouds as well, where neoclouds are effectively cloud providers or even telecoms or telcos that actually specifically cater for AI workloads. So they have GPUs in their environment that they actually, as a service, lend out to other companies. So we see neoclouds starting, in Europe and filtering down to Middle East, and hopefully we'll have some neoclouds in Africa as well. But I think the interesting stat for me, and you can see this here, is this last stat that we picked up. This was from our AI Readiness Index, where it shows that 78% of Africa's youth are using AI as a tool for their daily function, right? And that could be across social media, across searching, across doing work, which is actually amazing. It's mind-blowing. It shows that we're actually leading in terms of AI, and where we're actually innovating and creating a lot of these models that will be driving AI going forward. This is what we see in the next 10 years, right? We know that, this is self-explanatory, but let me just tell you. So we know there's going to be more AI, because AI is here to stay. You either need to be an adopter. I know there's probably a few deniers and doubters, but you need to be an adopter, and an early adopter is where you need to be, right? There's going to be a lot of data. There's going to be a lot of data that we have to process. We need the data. We need to learn from the data. We need to use the data. And we're going to see, from a consolidation perspective, a lot of consolidation of tools, a lot of consolidation of solutions to be educated for AI. From a Cisco perspective, we're actually looking at simplifying our security stack. We see security, and that's our catchphrase there, is if it's connected, it needs to be protected. Like, you cannot have the infrastructure to be able to transport all these the data and AI workloads, whether it's internal or external, and not have it protected. Like I mentioned earlier, the threat landscape is changing. A lot of new nefarious, bad actors are coming out of the woodwork, and they're using AI to try to get access to your sensitive data. And we need to be able to protect that. We need to be able to protect the data, protect your systems, protect your applications, and obviously protect your infrastructure. So you need a holistic security solution to be able to end-to-end to protect it, protect your infrastructure. This is interesting. So where does the risk lie? So we see now, obviously, there's companies that are developing their own applications to sit on top of those AI models. So, we talk about large language models, but there's also small language models that are more specific models that are catering for a specific function. Now, you need to be able to protect those applications. But what is the risk of those applications? Obviously, we know that people want to get hold of your data, and they want to use your data, hold you to ransom, for example. But it could also hurt your business. So if your enterprise or your organization is exposed, that's a reputational harm, right? If that damages your brand, then you won't be able to, you lose faith within, or you lose trust, I should say, within your end users. Data security and privacy, that's still critical. It's been critical for the last 30, 40 years since the advent of the internet, but now it becomes even more critical, so that you need to be able to secure, whether to encrypt, make sure your data is quite secure. Supply chains, now this is a very interesting one, where we see bad actors trying to intercept or inject into your supply chains to be able to defer data to be able to push it to their own nefarious gains, right? So that's critical. And we all know we have a global supply chain. We have countries like the US, China, India, that actually we rely on for supply chain. If that's disrupted, that could have a material impact on goods and services being delivered, for example, to South Africa. And cyber attacks and threats, that goes without question. There's been probably, and I think I have a slide next, where there's been a 10 to 15-fold increase in the amount of cyber attacks, just based on AI algorithms trying to access your network. Okay, yeah, so this is a good slide to explain in terms of the past, in the recent 12 months. 86% have experienced AI-related security attacks. So that's across the industry, we've seen an increase of security threats. Now, what does it mean? It means that you need to be able to secure your network. More than ever, it becomes critical now that you need to have a security strategy to be able to secure your network. If you look at the enterprise resources, so a lot of companies are using half of their resources dedicated to security. I mean, we know we have to run businesses and we have to generate revenue to make sure we get return on investment, so invest in applications that are revenue generating, but if we do not protect those applications, then we can actually lose revenue. This is Cisco's 3 steps to security in the age of AI. It's discovery, detection, protection. Discovery, that's using tools, either within your network or more advanced tools, to be able to discover your data and any data that's flowing through your network. That's from if I look at the OSI model, from the layer 7 all the way to layer 1, right? So the full stack, end to end. Detection, to be able to scan that data, to see if there's any risk, there's any vulnerabilities against databases. So you have the likes of NIST, you have the likes of MITRE, and also OWASP that are creating new lists of vulnerabilities, of security threats. You need to be able to scan and cross-reference against that to see if your network is being exposed to any threats. And then finally, protection. So you need to have the guardrails to be able to quarantine data, to be able to protect your applications against any AI advanced attacks coming through your network. Now, how do you do this? Now, Cisco has something called the Cisco Security Cloud. Now, I was going to do a demo, but the file was a bit too big, I couldn't load it on. But the Cisco Security Cloud basically provides what we call AI defense. I've put on some screenshots, I don't know if you can see, but effectively, this is a cloud-based system deployed on Cisco, but it also is an on-premise. The beauty of this, it's a multi-domain, multi-vendor tool. So it's used as a dashboard, as a single pane of glass to aggregate data from different sources. So tools that are not Cisco, tools that are from third party, or even internal applications that are developed by yourself, to use that data, gather that data, to be able to discover, like I mentioned, and then use that data against the security profiles to be able to detect if you're exposed to any security threats. Now, we have two applications to use to identify or detect. We have what we call the AI supply chain risk management, right? It scans for threats, scans all your repos, all your files, and to be able to see if there's any AI threats. Then we have the AI model and app validation. What that does is, again, it detects those vulnerabilities, it categorizes them as high to low, and those that are high, it immediately, using intuitive algorithms, to be able to quarantine that, right? Without any human intervention. So you're able to quarantine threats that are high or medium to your network using the AI algorithm. And then finally, in terms of protection, we're able to mitigate threats. So the tool actually learns, right? So if you experience a threat and there's a specific pattern through that threat, it actually recognizes that pattern, the signature, and uses that in future. So if you quarantine the threat now, we should be able to mitigate that in future, right? This is called Cisco AI Defense. It's something that we launched about 6 months ago. We have customers across the globe, even in Africa, that are using this, right, at different stages of it. And as the model develops, and as we get more data, and as the signature recognition and detection becomes more stronger, then this will evolve. Finally, I think in this age of AI, if it's connected, it needs to be protected. If we want to ensure that we can take the full advantage and full benefit, like I mentioned, like our colleagues have mentioned over the last 2 days of AI, the positives of it, to utilize it for education, for uplifting, for the positivity of humanity, then we need to make sure that our systems and applications are secure. And it starts with us. What do we need to do? So we need to protect our workloads. We need to enable risk mitigation for applications, whether it's built in-house or it's acquired from third party. We need to reduce the burden on security teams. So we need to use AI to be able to do a lot of this work. So remove the burden from actually individuals or engineers. Allow the tools and the systems to learn, evolve, and do the work. And we need to keep employees, I mean, with work from anywhere, we need to keep employees safe because they're using devices all over to access sensitive data in your network. Employees, customers, you need to keep them safe. And then finally, in this competitive landscape, you need to obviously make money, right? So you need to be able to protect yourself and make money of this. So I would like to say, if you want to be connected and make revenue, it needs to be protected. And then finally, I just wanted to say that Cisco, again, we've launched the AI Readiness Index. It's available for download. You can also, we have a assessment capability where if you want Cisco to assess your network in terms of AI threats, we're able to do that. So you can fill in. There's a link there. I'll share this documentation before. And we also, Cisco is part of the Responsible AI Framework. So, you know, like the EU, some of the US-based companies have joined this AI Responsible Framework where we're looking at how do we responsibly use AI without damaging existing infrastructure, existing principles, existing norms. And Cisco is a contributor and a participant of that. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And so with that, we have wrapped up just the individual company presentations for this present moment in time in terms of what is going on at industry level. We're going to move into a discussion where we look more closely at the topic of e-mobility, sustainable solutions for South Africa, hearing once again what players within the industry are doing right now by way of automation and everything electric. As the team are setting the stage up for the panel that will be taking place, I would like to ask for a few moments of your attention just to indulge yourself in this video that will set up the discussion also quite nicely.
The thesis behind the orchestra is that no one person can whistle a symphony. It takes an orchestra. And that's the beauty of One Telkom. And when that culture comes together, to the point of sustainability, it then actually makes a sustainable business. And that is what stands behind the One Telkom culture.
Today we are going to embark on a journey on sustainability and mobility. We are going to drive from here to Arabella. We'll be having a conversation about Telkom's sustainability strategy.
And we are having a fantastic time this weekend in showcasing the future of mobility by taking a convoy of electric vehicles from Cape Town through to Arabella. The world is going through a fundamental transformation in energy and mobility as they're converging together. And what we're seeing here is the result of this. So electric mobility is emerging as a very viable, sustainable mobility option, and leveraging on-site solar at venues like this to charge the vehicles creates that full circularity around sustainable energy. We have around about 6,000 to 7,000 EVs on the roads in South Africa right now. We have around 600 AC and DC charging stations across the country. It's very viable and very easy to make long road trips actually happen. And we're starting to see this really come to life now in South Africa.
This year we're celebrating 10 years of Future Makers. We have R1 billion spent in making meaningful impact. We've touched over 250,000 SMMEs and we must continue doing so. If we don't start to empower our youth today at a young age, the future is going to be quite dark. And that is what sustainability for me talks to. And I'm very excited about the work that Telkom is doing in there, particularly in Telkom Foundation and focusing on AI and AI education. People are saying, what's the secret sauce? Well, the secret sauce is that you've got a powerhouse that is called OpenServe. You've got agility in what is called Telkom Consumer. You've got then BCX, which comes in and takes the corporate. Now it means that we can actually punch with 3 fists. When that One Telkom pulls together, it's showing up in our results. Because now we are attacking as One Telkom. but punching much, much stronger.
We've got 4 pillars. It's people, it's prosperity, it's planet, and it's practice. What is people and what role do people play in our sustainability strategy?
Currently, women in leadership is about 33%. So I've set a target that by 2030, women in leadership 50%. In order to get to that target, we have to make sure that we develop the right pipeline.
What I'm hearing you say is we are not just setting a target. We are intentionally starting at grassroots level.
Absolutely.
Not just creating opportunity for us as Telkom, but creating opportunity for the country so that we can have women leaders.
Our essence and our core is that nobody should be left behind.
But what an amazing ride. You know, you put your foot on the pedal, takes off immediately, regenerative braking, so take your foot off, it starts braking, handles like a dream.
So there is quite a very ease of maneuvering and making sure that you get the power that you want.
I can tell you the experience was amazing. I was looking for a button to press to start the car. Before I knew it, it started itself. It was good to go. The car is smooth. It's smooth. I felt like I was on the cloud.
Because that is what customers are looking for. Distributed edge capacity, which is what Telkom has.
Yeah.
Now you take that layer and you're saying that is what is going to be the bedrock of what is required, because not just for your EV cars, but for that access. That is the ecosystem that Telkom has and significantly has, right?
It is in our nature, it is in our DNA to find the right things to do and do them as sustainably as possible and as cost effectively as possible to the benefit of the business.
In the concept of sustainability and being responsible not just to the planet but the society that you're in, we are not about fads or fashion. All right, we are about sustainable and responsible business practices. If you take the solar plant that was built at Hub, right, that was built way before solar plants and solar farms on campuses became fashionable.
Yeah.
Right. And Telkom has always been leading edge in that way of thinking, and will continue to do so.
Rama, that was good lunch.
Beautiful.
Beautiful place.
I like the approach in sustainability as well.
I mean, it is comfortable to know that there's people that intentionally think about doing business sustainably. Sustainability, the Telkom way, it's what we do.
Absolutely.
I got a slogan already. Sarama, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and looking forward to experiencing this drive again. And let's see how well we get to Arabella.
Let's keep it sustainable.
Keep it sustainable.
OpenServe's head of IP, transport and network management. Kagiso is instrumental in telco cloud and network automation transformation and champions OpenServe's Green First network sustainability efforts. Please welcome Kagiso Modise.
Good morning. How are you, colleagues? I'm very honored to be hosting today's panel, which is about powering progress and merging digital innovation and e-mobility. Exciting topic, as you would see from the road trip that we just had, as a way of introducing how we as Telkom see sustainability. But before I start with the order of the day, I'd like to welcome my fellow panel members to the stage.
Chief Commercial Officer and co-founder of Everlectric, a trained CA and entrepreneur, Paul drives bold solutions to help commercial fleets electrify their operations, achieve efficiency and cut emissions. Please welcome Paul Plumer, Principal Director and E-Mobility Practice Leader at Accenture. Greg is an expert in futures thinking, driving digital transformation across the automotive and telecoms industries. Please welcome Greg Kress, Chief Policy Officer, and Head of Transformation at NAMSA. Tetle is an author and policy expert focused on driving South Africa's automotive sector growth, transformation, and advocating for national re-industrialization. Please welcome Tetle Diteko.
Grant Locke. Grant is the Managing Director of Volvo Cars South Africa. Appointed effective 1 July 2025, he has served as Head of Commercial for Volvo Mobility and Financial Services. And in South Africa, he leads Volvo Cars strategic direction, operational performance, and customer experience, and the company's accelerated shift towards electrification. Please give my panelists a warm welcome. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. We definitely have work to do in the people space. There's too many gentlemen in this table. As you would say, for us as telecom, sustainability is about prosperity, the people, as well as the planet. And the people includes a very decent part of how do we empower our ladies in our world. But today, we're going to talk about mobility. And I'm very honored that we can spend this time in the next 30 minutes or just talking about what is the opportunity for us as South Africa to evolve and drive the change towards sustainable mobility. I mean, it is without saying that as South African cars are a part of us. From the BMW factory in Roslyn, Nissan factory, the Mercedes factories, we're all about cars. They've given us opportunity from an employment perspective. They've given us economy in terms of the export. And the world is evolving. The world is evolving to a place where mobility is becoming renewable. It's becoming greener. It's becoming highly digital. Anyone with a car now, I mean, we don't need to open cars like one of our experienced road trip drivers said. You don't have to start the car, you get in, you don't find a button to start the car. So mobility is changing. It's no longer a key, but it has all become digital, which leads to the reality that we stand at the intersection in mobility where automotive, technology, as well as renewable energy have coincided. And I'm very interested in hearing from you gentlemen on what is it that we can do to make sure that we as Africa and as South Africa can be driving our adoption of this new way of mobility so that we can move forward. But before we start, I think we have a reality as a country, which is EVs are not getting the adoption that you would see as it is happening in the rest of the world. If you say electric vehicle, by default somebody says, but our grid just recovered recently, are we ready for electric vehicles? If it was not that, then it's a conversation around, will I ever get to my destination, or will I be stuck somewhere because I ran out of battery? And I would like to start off by asking you, Grant, in your world as you engage with automakers and companies in building their mobility strategy, what are the global trends that you see in the other markets from a mobility perspective that align infrastructure with the demand for sustainable mobility?
Sure, Kiki. So, yeah, you know, what was striking from yesterday's keynote from Graham was he started off with a picture of New York in 1904, and he had pictures of horses in the street. And by 1914, that was replaced by the first Fords that had come into the city. That was 100 years ago. And in 100 years, the technology hasn't changed until now. I think everyone in this room will appreciate this. The iPhone moment
from 2007 in telecoms is now happening to automotive in the 2020s. It's moving fundamentally away from one dominant technology and into a new technology. It's like moving from Blackberries to iPhones, and I think this is the major shift that we're seeing. And so we're going through an inflection point around the world that is unstoppable. And South Africa will not be an exception to this rule. It's just a matter of time, it's a matter of when, and it's a matter of how we respond to the pace of change that this is actually bringing on. We have 7 automotive manufacturers in our country, and Shatley will tell us more about that, but these are the companies that are exporting to a market that's changing their product demand mix. So we have to adapt fast. But there are certain lessons we can learn from around the world to accelerate South Africa's uptake of EVs, particularly when it comes to charging infrastructure. You know, we have to build the networks for charging out first before we can expect a sort of exponential uptake of vehicles. It's exactly the same way telco rolled out GSM in 93, 94, if you recall. We had to put the networks out before the phone started working. The same thing is happening now for electric vehicles in South Africa. We need to create perception that you can drive long distance from Joburg to Durban, from Joburg to Cape Town. For that to happen, we need to have the corridors covered with electric charging infrastructure and stations. But for that also to happen, we need standardization of sorts, because right now it's a little bit like the Wild West. There's 4 or 5 charging point operators, the early days of Telkom, Vodacom, MTN in the early days, but there's no interoperability standardization. There's agreements in place, but nothing is regulated. So there's opportunity to get that right, because it's creating fragmented customer experiences. And each charging point operator has their own app, for example. You'll notice if you have an observant eye, you'll see a charge station at a petrol station with maybe Audi branding on it, or Mercedes branding on it, or Volvo or Jaguar. But to the average user, they will think, can I bring a different brand car to that station? Absolutely you can, but it's not known yet. So these kind of things need to be sorted out as well. But I think 2 more lessons would be reliability and focus on sort of the robustness of the charging. We as EV drivers don't suffer from range anxiety anymore, because we know how to do the trips, but what we do suffer from is charger anxiety. Is that charger going to be online when we get there? And Grant's got a story about that one. So we need that kind of visibility, we need that reliability. It's almost like the telco 5 nines, right? 99.999% availability of a network. That's not the case right now. So there's some steps to be taken there. And then the last thing I'd say is we have to use fleets as a catalyst for this, to really get adoption going. And the work that Paul does with Electric is incredible, because they're setting the benchmark around local delivery and you know, the last mile delivery opportunity and corporate fleets. So a lot of variables in the mix, but if we get these things right, we'll certainly start to see the uptake going forward.
Sure, Greg. I mean, I guess we don't want to be left behind.
We don't. We can't afford to.
BlackBerries are a thing of the past, and we are now fully digital. And it is up to us on how we use the lessons that we have with building resilient infrastructure to see how we make our current EV infrastructure available and reliable. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Grant, what role do automakers play in driving adoption of new energy vehicles and sustainable mobility?
I mean, automakers play an absolutely critical role, because it goes back to what Greg's saying. The products have to be there. The charging infrastructure has to be there. And you have to take a leap in advance of what the future holds. You've got to take a leap of faith. If you look at Volvo, Volvo's got the ambition to be 90% of all total sales will be electrified vehicles. That includes plug-in hybrids and EVs, and only 10% in sort of in ICE vehicles. And at the moment, we're 20% of the way there. Volvo's 97 years old. For the last 97 years, we've used ICE engines in our cars. We've built factories around it, products around it. all of our infrastructure supports that. And the organization is changing completely. And it's changing so fast you can't believe it. By 2026, even in South Africa, Volvo will have a nearly full range of its covered models in EVs. So we are taking that leap. And it's not an easy leap to take. I think if you looked at internally within Volvo as well, we're actually also looking from a sustainability point of view. We're looking at using recycled materials in the cars. Our factories are powered, even since 2008, some of our factories in Europe are powered by hydroelectric power. And in other aspects, we're using other aspects of renewable energy. So the whole company itself is transforming. And this is not an easy thing to do because, you know, every country moves at a different pace. South Africa will be at a different pace. Norway, for example, it's 98% of sales are EVs. South Africa is moving a little bit more slowly, but, and this is what I think the audience needs to be aware of, is that it's easy to take a snapshot and look at the sales today and say, oh yeah, that's the sales. But if you take that and look backwards, like we normally do with data, we take data and we look backwards and we try and see a trend, you're missing the rate of change. And I think that rate of change of EV adoption will move much faster than you think. And it's not just Volvo. Look at the number of other OEMs bringing electrified products into the marketplace. Even double cab pickup buckies are becoming PHEVs. And that kind of experience creates a network effect that will make things happen far, far faster. So again, the automaker's committed. We are there with our products. And I think we hopefully it's going to move even quicker. I'll just take one more story because you're right about this EV range anxiety. When I landed in South Africa, one of the things I did when I took up the job was I drove an EV around South Africa. I did 7,000 kilometers driving from Johannesburg to Umhlanga through Bloemfontein, through Colesberg, Graaff-Reinet. Did you know there's a 150 kilowatt charger in Graaff-Reinet outside? Is it a Pick and Pay or something? Yeah. It's a Pick and Pay. Then you drove to PE all the way along the N2 corridor, back through the Eastern Cape in Umtata. Just outside Umtata at a B&B, there's another 150 kilowatt charger. There's 150 kilowatt chargers in Port St. John's and other areas you would not expect. And then back through Hilton. In fact, last week, Thursday, I drove 1,300 kilometers from Johannesburg to Umhlanga and back again in the same day using an EV. And actually on the way back, 2 charging stations that I used were broken. So I had to go and find other ones. And I was able to do that thanks to the coverage. So if you think you can't do a long-distance trip in an EV, I promise you, in South Africa, you can.
That is exciting news. I mean, I thought I was adventurous, Grant, but I mean, 7,000 kilometers. I mean, going to Arabella was fun. Going to Balito was almost okay. 7,000 kilometers is a challenge, which we'll take up. But the principle is, there is some infrastructure. It is not that bad. We can already start experiencing this mobility. And more than that, it is about the leap that us as organizations need to take. It's not just you as OEMs, it's us as buyers of vehicles. I'm speaking here as well as us as Telkom, because we have a fleet, and our fleet is not electrified yet. But I hope...
contract, right, yeah.
Paul, you can tell us a bit more about your experiences with electrifying fleets. I mean, Paul, what role do you believe corporates have to play in driving adoption of new energy vehicles in fleets?
Yeah, so we'll sign this later. We at Ev Electric are super excited and super positive just for the fundamentals of the technology. I must also first just say that I am here as a proxy, the CEO, Ndia, who is a female, and my business partner, is presenting at an EV conference in Nairobi today, so she couldn't be here. So just, at least then, I'm going to be associated with female Just imagine, that's why I've got the hair. So we're very excited about the fundamentals of the technology and also the speed at which we as Africa can adopt the technology. A couple of tidbits from our business. We started with 5 electric vehicles that we brought in 2021. We moved from those 5 on trials with Woolworths, DSV, DHL, corporates that you're talking about that we see accelerating and driving EV adoption. Those 5, it took longer than we thought. We thought it would be 6 months. It took 18 months. We moved from 5 to 40 vehicles in our first commercial scaling. So, I don't know if you guys maybe have seen the Woolworths panel vans that say charge for change, or maybe some of the DSV vehicles. That was 2023. We then doubled in 24, so we went to about 80. Now we have over 200 vehicles on the road this year. So we're seeing just an absolute acceleration. In terms of range anxiety, every morning I wake up knowing that our vehicles need to do 12,000 kilometers in amongst them in the day. So the 200 vehicles, we keep them charged daily. And it's doable and it's efficient. The fundamentals around electric mobility, first of all, these vehicles save about a ton of carbon per vehicle per month. Yeah. So a ton of carbon is it's bigger than this room of CO2 emissions that's driving past your kid's school, or the UPD guys are delivering at hospitals now. Now they're no longer putting CO2 in those environments, right? So that's the first thing. But the efficiencies on electric vehicles hits rands and cents. And that's what we play to, and that's why a couple of chartered accountants are driving an electric vehicle as a service business, because our vehicles run at, say, 40 cents a kilometer, whereas a diesel vehicle will run at R2.50 a kilometer. So very quickly you can do the sums that there's a crossover point. They are more expensive to buy. The technology is expensive, and the Moore's Law it's still working in our favor, but we're not quite there yet. But we're seeing if you do more than a certain break point between 2,500 and 3,000 kilometers a month, it makes economic sense. And so there's the CO2, amazing. There's the efficiencies that get released with corporates and kilometers, because corporates are doing kilometers. Our clients generally are doing 5,000 kilometers a month, and so the break-even's at 3,000. So everything above 3,000, they're saving on average R2 a kilometer that they drive with these vehicles. And so we see Africa as actually adopting these things a lot quicker, because we love efficiencies and we will go for cost savings. And just a side note, we were the first in DSV's fleet. DSV is the second biggest logistics operator. It's a blue and white DSV. You'll see them close to the airport and in and around. We were the first electric vehicles they adopted globally with the trial with Woolworths. DHL, we also brought vehicles, and we ran trials pretty much ahead of Europe, or at the same time as Europe, with driving the technology. And so also, another tidbit not related to our business, but in Cape Town, Golden Arrow buses, Gideon and the Golden Arrow bus team, they're putting 120, and I think they've deployed 85 or 90 of them already. Absolutely amazing, the scale at which those buses are going in, and globally, the scale at which they put in charging infrastructure in. It's like a leading application. There are other areas which people are adopting, and China, let's put China aside, obviously electrification's leading there, but the fact that the efficiencies are available, and we as Africa, we grab that, and we're brave enough to try. We venture. It's in our nature to do that. And so, although we're lagging on commercial vehicle, passenger vehicle adoption, on passenger vehicle adoption, I believe that the fleets, because of the efficiencies and because of the rands and cents, will adopt very rapidly in those areas, and we're seeing it with our clients. That was a very long answer, I'm sorry.
I didn't say that.
I'll stop now.
Thank you very much, Paul. it is encouraging to know that as responsible business owners, we always care about making sure that whatever investment we have makes financial sense. And there is a place where the 40 cents a kilometer and the R2.50 has to win. Yeah. And that talks to the reality that it is not just I want to call it a tree-hugging exercise. Not only are we cleaning our environment and making sure that we create a safe space to live in, but we're also making sure that we create businesses that are cost-effective in the way they deliver to our customers. And not just that, we know that as a country, we have a lot of logistics that's running on trucks and vehicles like DSV. So there is an opportunity to make sure that from a corporate perspective, there is benefit on the bottom line with EVs.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sharing that insight, Paul. Certainly, I mean, we see people in Europe with certain benefits if they buy electric vehicles. There's different incentives that governments in those sides of the world are providing in terms of driving electrification of mobility. How do you believe policy is currently impacting adoption of new energy vehicle and what needs to change?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that question. Good. Is it afternoon now or is it still morning?
Still morning.
Good morning to everyone. So I think that to answer that question, we have to build some bit of context, and we need to achieve, generally, Europe has shown us, China to an extent the same, the concept of a magic third, meaning once sales get to about a third, new vehicle sales, a third of them become new energy vehicles. What happens after then? You've got this rapid growth. So the inflection point is this 33% of new vehicle sales being of an NEV variety that leads to adoption, moving much more faster. Now, China, Europe achieved both their 30% magic third by working on incentives, and those incentives, once a third of your new sales vehicles were incentivized, that happened. Now, South Africa has got as a predisposition about two disadvantages. One, we're operating at a budget deficit, so there's no way our fiscals can afford to subsidize ownership. And secondly, currently on an average vehicle that we're all driving, government collects, on average, if you took all the model derivatives that we have, and there's about 2,300 model derivatives that we have in the country, government is collecting taxes in the range of about 80,000 on each car. That is why our cars in South Africa are slightly more expensive than they would be in other markets. So to drive incentives, government is toying around with how they balance that tax bucket. So in that tax bucket, you've got duties for your import duties that you pay on vehicles. You've got your carbon tax emissions. You've got a luxury tax, ad valorem tax, which views a car that you'd buy at about 200,000 as a luxury item, and they put a tax in there. So you're paying taxes on non-luxury products necessarily because they have not adjusted the curve. And then you've got VAT as well. Now, to do an incentive that works, government will need to rebate. And how do they structure a rebate system or a rebate product? They've got to almost play a juggling act. And so part of their thinking is, do I give a carbon tax rebate for someone who buys, fleet managers who buy fleets of electric vehicles, and that becomes part of a legislation in carbon-free taxes that government is currently looking into investigating. And then fleet managers would be incentivized that way. Two, if South Africa produces these vehicles, and currently in South Africa we're producing 3 PHEVs, the C-Class, the Ranger, and the X3. If they're going to be made available for the local market, does government then subsidize the ad valorem tax on those vehicles to make sure that at least South African produced vehicles are slightly cheaper through the discounting of that ad valorem tax and drive adoption that way? That is but all these, by the way, are thought starters more than policy at hand. So what government has said is that after 2027, they'll look into how this then plays out. But it's going to have to be something that is fiscally neutral or fiscally unburdensome, in that you can't expect government like China to throw money at it. We don't have that much money. And for government to forego projected tax revenue through a new rebate program takes time. They'll need to make sure that they do not create a bigger budget deficit going that direction. Now, Paul spoke to another one, which I did not plan on speaking to, but just for perspective. Commercial vehicles are going to effectively be how fast we run adoption, because public transport is on buses, and trucks as well are easy to convert. And trucks have already been on this path through Euro 4, Euro 5, Euro 6 fleets being a part of our roads already. So converting them to EV mobility is going to be one. The challenge, though, in South Africa is that it's quite hard for commercial vehicles that are suddenly are bigger and wider and a lot heavier than they used to be, and a lot taller as well. So length, weight regulations are now the biggest challenge for projects like the one that you mentioned with electric buses in Cape Town. And now how do we prove to those that are making the roads that electric and commercial vehicles that are electric are not damaging the roads? Because over and above their payload, they are now carrying these big batteries with them. And those type of new laws we now need to get around. So over and above the infrastructure, we almost have to get, so over and above the charging infrastructure, we need then the small rules around cars and how cars qualify to be homologated in our country to also be adjusted to allow for more model derivatives. And to an earlier point he made around availability of products, we've got over 2,600 model derivatives in South Africa, but under 200 that are of an NEV variety. And so you could imagine that your options are still more towards ICE than they are available towards NEV. And it's those type of things that we also need to figure out and work out to drive adoption.
Sure, thank you.
I was just putting up on your point on incentives and then on Paul's point as well. Like, actually, one of the incentives that might be available at this moment in time is allowing employees to charge at the office. Because if you think about it that as a benefit for employees to charge their electric cars at the office, I don't know to what extent those are taxed at the moment. And in addition to that, if it were taxed or generated through solar generation power, then perhaps the perk or the benefit tax might be much lower than you would have expected. So it might be that to a large extent today we have cell phones as a benefit in kind from employers, but it might be in the future that charging your car at work might well be a sort of a tax-efficient benefit to allow for employees.
Yeah, and peak solar charging happens during the day as well. So even if you have a solar installation at your home, you necessarily you are at work and you wouldn't use that peak availability for your charging. So if you do it through a solar-powered system at work, I think there's a conversation. I agree with you.
So, Tsetla, what you're saying is it's complex. it's not as easy as government snap the finger and we move, but ultimately there is an opportunity for us.
I think the futurist yesterday said it right when, you know where the technology is going, but the systems that are supposed to think around the opportunity are not necessarily as agile. And so someone needs to then do the policy education to try to map up what could be a right path.
Indeed, and probably an opportunity for us to see how we leverage digital technology to help us solve some of these problems that we have. But gentlemen, I know you are comfortable with talking about this conversation. So for the next round of questions, I'd like to give you a brief minute for you to just share your thoughts about what do you think, Greg, is telco's ability to collaborate with automakers in making digitization and connectivity a success in this particular space?
I think the marriage between automotive and telco is an absolutely natural fit, and we're seeing that already now. Telco networks have got three key features that automotive manufacturers want, and that is the high connectivity and available networks. They've got the ability to provide a lot of data about the specific insights about the networks, and they've got what's called edge compute capacity, which is what we're hearing about during the conferences, the AR data centers, the AR compute capacity. On the automotive side, there'll be millions of endpoints vehicles on the road that are out there. There will be new monetizable services in the vehicles, in entertainment centers in the vehicles. And this will be the gateway to consumer services. So we're seeing these two worlds converging already in a couple of examples. I mean, the latest Volvo EX30, EX90 is about to get a Google Gemini update over the air, downloaded to the vehicle, that's going to bring conversational Gen AI to the user driver experience, to the point that Google Gemini is now going to be able to use the camera systems of the EV to recognize and do onboard compute using the GPUs in the vehicle to advise the driver of what it sees. So as an example, you could be driving past a restaurant and you could say to it, hey Google, are there any vegetarian options on that menu at that restaurant? And in that moment, the compute will happen and you'll get the conversation live back to you. I mean, you just cannot do that kind of deployment in any other vehicle other than a software-defined EV. The second big driver is going to be autonomous driving. And the amount of data that these vehicles are going to be continuously filming through their cameras, through their LiDAR systems, and uploading to the cloud for computational processing, and then taking decisions back down the cloud again, it's all going to be seamless in terms of the way autonomous driving takes off as well. And then lastly, I think you'll start to see shared data platforms between telco networks and between automotive. BMW have now just launched a in-car health monitoring system. So you could be driving your BMW, you have a seatbelt on, which is going to have a heart sensor built into the seatbelt. Your steering wheel is going to be doing ECG services while you're driving. And that'll be a subscription service that BMW could offer in conjunction with a telco to actually monetize in-car health of the driver and the participants. And then improved safety systems coming like with the new Volvos as well. So this future of innovation in the automotive and telco space is just going to be limitless and super exciting to watch.
Thanks, Greg. So the same opportunity we see with having cell phones is almost coming to what we will get if we get our mobility digitalized and energized with new energy.
As the saying goes, the future's already here. It's just unevenly distributed. Cool. It's happening already.
Thanks. Grant, how do companies keep the balance between their long-term sustainability goals and the short-term need to act?
It's very difficult. You know, you have to take that leap of faith, and with a manufacturer the size of Volvo, which is small by global standards, we had to drop our diesel engines early in order to shift to EVs. And you can imagine that in South Africa alone, 80% of Volvo sales were diesels. So we really suffered. However, we're so confident in the future of EVs that we think it's a necessary investment. And I think from an internal side, if you look at sustainability and doing it, we've already taken those costs to create circular economies around using recycled components inside our cars and then renewable energy in our factories. So that's already happened in the background, and now we just need to wait for the rest of the world to adopt, and we need to be patient.
Thanks. So we must be brave. Make the difficult decisions and stay on track.
I promise you can do a drive in an EV. You can be brave.
Thank you. Thank you, God. Paul, in a couple of lines, what do you see is the biggest value creation in your space in terms of logistics and fleet?
It's very clear that the technology is a lot more efficient. It's keeping it charged and utilizing IoT, connectivity, smart back-end AI, whatever generation computing, to make sure that you're keeping those things charged. So I think that's the biggest value add. Adopting one electric vehicle is pretty easy. 5, fine. If you're taking a fleet of 100 or 1,000, you need to have a support safety net that allows you to keep those vehicles charged. So I think that's the biggest value add. So if companies understand that, in my opinion, that's going to be the biggest value add, a safety net to allow companies to do that. And in theory, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
You know.
I mean, in essence, you're taking away the burden of having to worry about how this entire fleet functions, so that the organization can get the benefit of this new technology without having to worry about making all of it stick together.
100%. That's my job, is to make sure the fleet guy doesn't worry about charging. So, yeah, and we've got IoT systems, we're connected to the vehicles all the time and all the chargers all the time, and we manage that in the back end.
Thanks, Paul. I mean, certainly in closing, what do you believe we need from a policy perspective to align this future that we want from a mobility perspective with our current realities from an industry in terms of jobs and infrastructure?
Yeah. So I think that possibilities are endless, depending on how you embrace this future. Now, I'll give you an example. He just spoke around the use of second-hand used material for circular economy in vehicles. South Africa exports almost 60% of the cars we manufacture to the EU. And the EU already has some type of product profile that they're expecting from us, which now requires that we have non-virgin material, raw material in the car. And we need to get these from recycled vehicles. And one of the biggest problems we have as a country, as South Africa, is that we have zombie cars on our road. So cars that you know that the insurance wrote off, but somehow found their way back into our roads, and we're driving around with these zombie vehicles for lack of a policy around how we create end of life for vehicles. So we don't have a way that we bury cars. And now, just by changing of demand in the profile of vehicles we send into the EU, we now know industry sponsoring an end-of-life policy that's going to ensure that we can recover non-virgin material and reuse in how we produce vehicles, and that creates jobs in creating that circular economy. And those jobs could be informal, and those jobs could include the broader population and broader community. And so we are at a place now where the possibilities are endless depending on where you're looking in the value chain. In the upstream, the production of EVs means that we have to realign our education system, create the right education frameworks. So there's a lot of industry partnering with institutions of learning at TVET and at university level to ensure that we're producing the right technician to work in these cars after they leave the dealerships, or to work on the cars as they get assembled. And so it's quite an interesting set of years. What's clear, though, is that things are moving so fast that what was achieved in the past 100 years will be far surpassed by what we do in the next 10.
Sure. That's a good way to close. So I guess from the conversation today, it is without doubt that the opportunities are endless. The future is what we want to create. The reality is we have all of the capabilities, not only to have sustainable mobility for ourselves, but also to create the future that we want in all other countries where we export to, by making sure that we are able to provide sustainable NEV vehicles. And more than anything else, it comes with the benefit of us being digitized to make sure that we are able to leverage the vehicles and get the full benefit by aligning our digital capabilities with these new vehicles that come, which is what we know well. We know how to connect people. It's just a matter of us connecting vehicles, and we'll be able to tap into this new world. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, out of curiosity, are you guys convoying back to Cape Town? And how do we become part of that EV ride? Is that the plan? What's the criteria? Okay, done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. Okay. Any questions? Any comments at the stage? Yes, no, yes. What I would be interested in certainly is seeing just the evolution of pricing, and I heard maybe the degree to which policy can also help with a bit of pricing, especially when it comes to adoption for us as consumers. But I wonder to what degree some of the technologies and the innovations that we've been talking about right now that are expected to make most industries a lot more efficient I wonder to what degree that could also help from a pricing perspective for automotive companies in being able to manufacture these vehicles at a price point that's more suitable for the masses, as it were. I wonder, perhaps a conversation that one can have over tea or lunch. So we have heard, and many of you are very familiar with the fact that this is a multi-stakeholder event. It is the gathering of academia, it's the gathering of industry, it's the gathering of students as well, in terms of solving and coming up with solutions for our present today. And so far, we haven't seen any of the students, I think, on stage as yet. Yes, some of you have had the opportunity to engage with them at their various exhibition points, but we haven't seen them on stage. And so this is the prime and a very nice opportunity where we get to engage with a few of them. Just because we are at the point right now where we will be issuing some awards. It is the Industry Solutions Challenge winners announcement that will be taking place. And many of you will be aware of what happens in the background in the lead up to this conference. Essentially, there is an application to students, some of the bestest and the brightest out there, around 200 or so, to apply for a hackathon challenge. Industry puts forward some of the major problems that the students need to solve for, and the best and the brightest get selected, and they try to solve for this, obviously with the encouragement and the support of industry, with the support of entrepreneurship, with the whole lot of mentoring action that does take place in the lead up to Satnac. Of course, students also monitoring their own academic studies, as well as trying to solve for some of our pressing needs. And at this present moment in time, essentially we are going to be seeing some of the students who are regarded as the cream of the crop in terms of what they have been able to solve for. And a lady who will say a little bit more about this, but more importantly present the industry challenge, the awards to the winners right now, is Dr. Babedi Mudikhiane. She's a specialist research over at Telecom SA, and she'll give us a little bit more details as to what will be taking place on stage before lunch. So let's welcome her.
To announce the Satnac Industry Challenge winners, please welcome a passionate advocate for people empowerment and the leader of the COE program at Telecom Group. With her PhD in electronics, she equips our students to tackle real-world industry challenges. Please welcome Dr. Babedi Mudikhiane.
Thank you, Fifi, and good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute honor to stand before you as we celebrate the heart of innovation at Satnac, which is the Satnac Industry Solutions Challenge. A sincere thank you to our prestige sponsors and their respective company leadership teams, from MDocs, the BCX and Cisco partnership, Huawei, OpenServe, and Telkom CSP, for your mentorship, guidance, and unwavering commitment, and the belief in the future that we are shaping together. Thank you. I would also like to thank Kui Studios for helping us deliver the challenge and for providing the vital innovation solution development training for our participants. To our SME coaches from our sponsoring companies, whose hands-on guidance has been invaluable. We thank you. And last but not certainly the least, we'd like to thank our adjudicators and program directors for making the delivery of the Satnac Challenge finale a success. And then to all the Satnac 2025 participants, I take you as the cohort that was baptized with fire, because all of you had to prepare for this challenge also doing your exams at the same time. But you took on this challenge with so much courage, and it is very commendable. And it gives me pleasure to announce that each and every one of you who has completed their Innovation Solutions Challenge training is going to get a certification of completion for your efforts and your growth. And then now, we are going to move on to the awarding ceremony. And my colleague, Ms. Sandiso SABC, will be helping me in that regard. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like the AV team to just cast the video, if that's possible. Take a sec. Okay. All right, whilst they get ready, I'm going to just move on with the ceremony. Maybe we'll see it at the end. I think it's worth you guys seeing the trouble that the students had to go through, a very excruciating process of 6 weeks or more. So I'm going to ask our group Chief Digital Officer of Telcom to come forward, Sela Makau. He will be, unfortunately, standing throughout the whole award ceremony. He is the official Telcom representative. Can you please give him a round of applause?
Challenges like this bring together the academics, the students, and real-world business. It creates a bridge between the corporate world, between corporate business and them in the academic world. It's important so that they can see the value they can bring to us, as well as the opportunities that are available to them. Many ideas can come from this kind of space or these kinds of initiatives that we've never thought of inside of the business space. I was quite surprised at how the students undertook the challenge, how they looked at it, the routes that they took. The depth of knowledge that the students had, they were much more skilled than I thought they would be. I have very high hopes for the youth of Africa that are coming in to drive future solutions in. So my name is John Mayer. I work as the Customer Experience Manager for Cisco South Africa. I cover the service providers inside of Africa.
The key expectation for us and the main reason for us why we are passionately involved with Satnac in particular is because it forges a dynamic link between technology innovation, the academia excellence, and the industry expertise together. This you will not find anywhere else. So when you are now putting these solutions against the youth talent who is coming up with fresh ideas, with a fresh mind, the fire inside them is inextinguishable when you interact with them in the Satnac platform, I must say. We even take these people to grow with us. Every year we are taking people that are winning from the Satnac Hackathon. I'm Satish Chandrasekharan, Customer Business Executive from Amdocs.
Innovation challenges are critical because it allows us as a technology company to engage our youth. This is essentially the future and the future leaders of tomorrow. Okay, so the specific problem statements are real socio-economic challenges that we're having in our country. So I really hope that industry will actually step up and take in more students, incubate them, and actually make them ready for not only the South African workplace, but also equip them for the global workplace overall. So my name is Deslan Pillay. I'm an IT Solutions Manager at Huawei.
Innovation is a strategic imperative in the ICT sector, and that is why we as Telcom Group and OpenServe had the Satnac and Satnac Innovation Challenge. We see Satnac as an opportunity for us to partner with academia and research institutions to be able to leverage the insight from research institutions in solving the problems that we have in industry. My greatest highlight from the Satnac Innovation Challenge, especially for our topic, was to see the multiple perspective that the different teams brought to the challenge in particular. It was a reminder again that everybody can innovate. My name is Kagiso Modise. I am Executive for Technology Lifecycle Management and Network Management Systems Operations at OpenServe.
Thank you. Can you please give our sponsors a round of applause? Okay, we have 10 awards to do, so we're going to do this smartly. I'm going to ask the representative from the company to just come up, and I'll call them and they'll stand next to Silo. And then the winner, as I call your name, please come up. As you come up, I will tell the audience about your wonderful solution. In that time, I expect you to get your certificate, smile for the camera, take an award, shake Silo's hand, shake your sponsor's hand, and get back to your seat. Okay, so that's for the winner. So just help me in just doing it as quickly as possible. We do have a lot to get through, and I would like to get you guys lunch as soon as possible. Thank you. I'm going to call on our first sponsor, MDocs, Mr. Piki Monaheng, and Yuri Zissa to join us on stage with Mr. Silo. And I'm presenting the first award. Are they here in the room? Okay, yeah, they're coming up. Thank you. The topic they'll be working on is that they were presenting is AI-powered career navigation for South African youth. The winner of this award is Tech Mavericks. Tech Mavericks can come on stage. Their solution is called Leoto AI, is an AI-powered career navigation platform rooted in the Ikigai concept, which integrates user data with real-time job market information to provide tailored, future-proof career recommendations for young people. Congratulations, Tech Mavericks. Okay. I see they're still taking photos. So the proposed solution is called Leoto AI, meaning Journey in Sesotho. This is a platform designed to guide users through a journey of self and career discovery, rooted in the foundational principles of the Japanese concepts of Ikigai. Leoto AI utilizes a proprietary algorithm to integrate key user data, including interests and strengths, with real-time job market data and artificial intelligence. This powerful combination allows the platform to tailor the best possible future-proof career recommendations for young people. Congratulations, Tech Mavericks. The second topic is optimizing capital expenditure in the telecom industry. The winner of this award is Sipiwe Mkumalo. The solution is, you can clap for him. The Network Profit Optimizer tool is designed to optimize telecom capital expenditure for analyzing site proposals using data points, cost, revenue, location, to select an optimal budget-constrained portfolio that delivers the highest possible return on investments. Thank you. Okay, thanks. All right, thank you. The third and last topic by MDocs is called Real-Time Financial Fraud Management. The winner of the solution is Syntax Sisters. The solution is called Fraud Shield AI, is a real-time financial fraud management system for mobile banking users employing a dual engine defense, predictive scoring and LLM reasoning to detect social engineering and continuously adapt to evolving scam trends. Congratulations, Syntax Sisters. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to call up on the representative from Cisco. This is a partnership between Cisco and BCX. The gentleman to do this so is Mr. Ndai Kojani. I think you can clap for him. He sponsored the conference. He sponsored as well. So. Mr. Ndai will be presenting the award called for the challenge called AI-driven real-time detection and mitigation of advanced network anomalies and security threats. The winner of this award is Olwethu Mabani. Olwethu's solution is called Adaptive Responsive Threat Fabric, is an AI-powered real-time threat detection system for modern for modern banking that integrates network layer and behavioral AI to detect fraudulent or duress-based transactions and automate incident response to reduce financial losses. If you can all just clap for Olwetu again, thank you. The second topic for Cisco and BCX is as follows. It's titled Unified Dashboard Design for Proactive Management of Multi-Vendor Network Infrastructures. The winner of this award is Telco Titans. The solution is called the Titans AI Copilot. It's an AI-driven platform that unifies multi-vendor network operations by aggregating all telemetry data, predicting system failures, explaining root causes, and leveraging generative AI to create automated one-click remediation scripts. A round of applause for Telco Titans. Okay, this was definitely leading up to an AI summit. Everyone is using AI, so well done to the students. Thank you. Okay. The next, thank you to the BCX and Cisco team. Thank you. We are moving on now to Huawei. The representative for Huawei is Mr. Arthur Wang Yu. If you can join me on stage. Thank you. Okay. The topic, do you join him on stage? Yes. Thank you. The first topic for Huawei, the first and only topic for Huawei actually, is redefining the value proposition of AI for businesses. The winner of this award has got nothing to do with the person's proposition, values, beliefs, but the name of the group is called Still Lazy. Still Lazy has developed a solution called CityGo. It's an AI-powered platform for public transport optimization in Durban, using predictive analytics and a commuter app for route efficiency, real-time updates and trip planning to reduce operational costs and support smart city goals. Still Lazy, are you coming up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Since he was lazy coming up, I have to read his whole bio now. CityGo is an AI-powered platform designed for public transport optimization. It uses predictive analytics to improve route efficiency for forecasting bus arrivals and passenger demand. The commuter mobile app offers real-time updates and reliable trip planning. This solution reduces operational costs and supports Durban's smart city goals as it is built using local data for a tailored and scalable transport system. Thank you, Still Lazy. Thank you to the Huawei representatives as well. The next representative is our CEO, Miss Beauty Apeleni of OpenServe, to present the award for the topic, Mapping Visual Deployment and Charging Infrastructure Needs. If you can give her a round of applause. Silo, please do not go anywhere. Thank you. Thank you. This award goes to Synergy Tech. Synergy Tech, thank you. The solution is called EV Deployment and Charging Viability Model. Is an AI-powered geospatial decision support platform designed to guide EV deployment in the South African context, accounting for load shedding. By analyzing data to score regions as viable, augmentation needed or not viable, to ultimately provide cost savings and eliminate range anxiety. Give it up for Synergy Tech. Thank you. And thank you to Ms. Beauty Apeleni, the OpenServe CEO. Thank you. Our next award is for Telkom itself. This award will be presented by Mr. Lebu Masalesi, a member of the LOC for Satnac. If you can join us on stage, thank you. Please give him a round of applause. The topic they charged the students is Next Gen Telecom Building a Secure, Autonomous and Sustainable Mobile Network. The winner of this award is CBC. Thank you. CBC has developed a solution called SmartNet. It's an AI-powered system that optimizes Telkom's mobile network by seamlessly powering down underused base stations during low traffic periods, which is projected to save Telkom up to a whopping 200 million rands annually and deliver 15 to 20% reduction in network-wide energy consumption. Give it up for CBC. No, Mr. Lebo, please stay put on stage. Our last award for Telkom is under the challenge Enhancing Customer Experience in Telecommunications. The winner for this award is Aaron Masuba. Aaron's solution is called CareStream 360. Is an AI-powered platform that predicts quality of experience in real time to proactively manage customer care, generating support tickets and notifying customers of issues, which is projected to reduce customer churn by 20 to 40% and support operating costs by 20 to 30%. Give it up for them. Thank you. Mr. Silo, your duties are finishing now, I promise. We have the last award to give, the prestigious award. So what we have done is we've looked at all of the solutions across all the different sponsors and topics and found our overall winner. So the Satnac, can we get like fires, like, you know, things falling from the sky? Yes, this Satnac 2025 Innovator of the Year Award is Olwethu Mabane. Please forgive me, I've made a blip. We have one more award to give. At least we didn't give it to the wrong person. It's a better blip. We have one more award to give for Telkom Next Gen, Telkom Building a Secure, Autonomous and Sustainable Mobile Network, presented by Mr. Lebu Masalesi from Telkom. And the winner of this topic, last but not least, is Masibonge Shabalala. Yes. Masibonge's solution is Telkom SmartNet is an all-in-one AI platform for network automation and security, implementing network slicing, AI self-healing, and green energy optimization for high uptime and 42% efficiency, while predictive AI prevents cable theft, saving an estimated 1.4 million per month. A round of applause for Masibonge, thank you. Yes. I believe I've covered all the winners. Congratulations to every single winner. Masibonge, please don't tell mom and dad that I forgot to announce your award. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that would have been a great loss because Masibonge came ready. Can we just talk about her dress? She knew, you know, when you wake up knowing you are going to win. And can I just do something off script as well? Can all the bunch of winners just come back on stage so we can have a nice group photo? All the representatives also who have been leading this as well, please come back on. Madame Beauty as well. Please, can you come back on with it? And the chair. Oh, I feel I'm going to get in trouble with the chair. I call him on stage all the time. So this time I'm not asking you to dance, but to come and... So all the bunch of winners, you all who are holding certificates, please come back on stage so we can just capture this beautiful moment of yours as a collective. Our DJ, put some winning music there. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you, and we look forward to all those solutions being implemented. For the fact that they won, there's something about them, and we look forward to seeing them come live, in action, in reality. And now we're going to move on to the awards announcement for the Best Student Papers by the Satnac Technical Program Chair, Dr. Joshua Javula, Senior Lecturer, Computer Science at the University of Cape Town. Sir, the stage is yours.
Now, for the prestigious Best Student Papers Awards, please welcome our Technical Program Chair. His research from the University of Cape Town focuses on the performance of internet systems in low-resource contexts. Please welcome the leader who's advancing internet universality and access in Africa, Dr. Josiah Chavula.
I'm really pleased to now come to the academic presentations and academic awards for the papers. So I'm speaking from the Technical Program Committee, which looks at the academic papers that are submitted by our students from the telecom centers of excellence from all the various universities. Of course, we do get submissions from other academics who are not necessarily part of the centers, but most of our submissions are coming from the telecom centers of excellence. So I'll explain the process that we go through to get the papers submitted and reviewed, and then towards the end, I will present what we consider to be the best papers for this year's submissions. So just to give you a bit of a background, we do send out a call for papers. So when the Satnac conference is announced, we also do send out a call for papers which goes out to the academic community for the submission of the papers that we can review and then hopefully accept to be presented at this conference. So this year we did this call in August and September. We received 153 full papers from the academic community, plus 37 short papers that were also submitted. So what you've seen outside are some of the posters that would have come from either the short paper, which are work in progress papers, or the full paper submissions that were accepted and then also brought in as posters. So you've already seen them outside. After this session in the afternoon, we'll have a breakaway session or breakaway sessions where these students will present their papers, at least for the papers that have been accepted and are here. So that's the process. We have within the telecom centers of excellence academics who are part of this process. They review these papers. For this year, we've had a total of 565 reviews to look through all these papers that were received. In total, we had 105 reviewers involved in this process. So it's a quite extensive process where we subject these papers for review and make sure that they have the quality and they have what it takes to come and present at Satnac. Out of these 153 papers, we accepted 52 full papers, which is about 34% acceptance. And out of the short papers, we accepted 16 papers, which is about 40%. And then out of that, the technical program committee, we sit and look based on the reviews and looking at the themes and everything else that conform to this conference, we select then what we consider to be the best papers. So that's what we're going to present. So maybe just for the interest of those that might find this useful, as I said, we had 153 papers from the full paper submissions and 37 from the short paper. Most of the submissions, and this probably goes with the theme of what we've seen in the innovation, almost everyone is doing something to do with AI. So a majority of the submissions are within the space of artificial intelligence applications or some kind of data-driven application. So that's where we see a lot of the submissions, at least this year and even last year. Most of the research seems to be driving in that direction, not surprising given the times that we're in. Right, so that's for the interest of the academics and others. And again, as just mentioned, we had an acceptance rate of about 34% for the full papers, which is quite decent. I know it's, we couldn't accept every single paper. We had to choose the ones that are ready for this presentation, but also within the limited amount of time that we have. So 34% of the papers were accepted. And let me really thank all the program committee members, the reviewers, the academic community that are part of Satnac, going all the way to review these papers. As I said, we had 105 reviewers because we had quite a huge submission number this year. So we had to call upon our academics to come in and really help. So these are the program committee members who worked to review the papers. So thank you all. I can't mention all the names, but thank you. There are more on that, so it's a lot. All of these are coming from all these universities that are part of the Satnac and the telecom centers of excellence. All right, so I will, at this point, invite our general chair for Satnac 2025, who is also telecom group executive for innovation and transformation, Dr. Maki Jankis, to come in front and help me to award these. So these best papers are going to receive a certificate to honor them for submitting the best quality work for this year. And also Telecom is going to give a cash prize for these best papers. So we have 3 best papers, number 3, number 2, and number 1. So I'll start with what we consider to be the third best paper. So this paper is from the University of Zululand. So if you're here from Zululand, already get excited. And this paper is investigating the robustness of audio features under concept drift in Android malware detection. So anyone from Zululand? Prof. Alfredo, I saw you earlier. You've moved. Okay, we will keep the certificate and award for them until they are present. Thank you very much. And then we move to our second best paper for this year is from the University of Stellenbosch. Excitement from Stellenbosch, anyone from there? Fantastic. And the paper is, VADDBN. Do we have the authors in the house? Yes. Christian, well done. It's an interesting paper. They're looking at the use of AI for conservation, particularly in making sure that whales and other marine biodiversity is protected. So it's really a useful application of AI. And then for the best paper this year, the paper is from the University of Cape Town. Anyone from University of Cape Town? And the best paper this year is building a low-cost cloud-native 5G network slicing experimental test bed. Well done. This is a paper with a lot of collaboration, so we're indicating University of Cape Town there, but some of the authors are from the University of Johannesburg, and also we have some of the authors from the University of Berlin, Technical University of Berlin. So this is a good paper that they're really not just scientifically and academically sound, but they have actually implemented something that can be used for testing, and other people can also adopt and test it. So it's a really comprehensive paper that we really think is very vital for Satnac. Do we have representatives from UCT? Dr. Joyce? Prof. Joyce, not here? Okay, we have Maureen. Again, thank you so very much for your attention. As I said, in the afternoon, after lunch, the breakaway sessions begin. That's where you can come and attend and listen to the presentations from the students. So I really do encourage you to attend. We value your feedback, not just the academics, but the colleagues from industry. Please do attend and engage with the students as they present their work. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Lunch has been mentioned too many times for me to occupy too much time for you and the much needed nourishment that you need at this point in time. Suffice to say, can I have a few moments further just for a closing of this morning's sessions before you head out to the breakaway sessions after lunch, of course. So can we please welcome back on stage Dr. Jantjies to wrap things up for us for right now.
Have you ever watched a Netflix series and it is so engaging, so compelling, and the Wi-Fi or the power turn off? I hate to be that person. Before I start with my acknowledgements, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all agree Ms. Fifi Peters has been an absolutely amazing host. Thank you for carrying us through this journey. Thank you for embracing Satnac. And thank you for doing an amazing job during the day, during the night, consistent as always. The end of this conference always feels like the end of something exciting, but it's important because it enables us to come back each year. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close this year's Satnac conference, we reflect on two remarkable, thought-provoking days. Conversations that continue to shape our sector. This year's theme positioned us perfectly, Africa's Ascent. And throughout the conference, we saw evidence that Africa is standing at a historic moment. I'd like to quote our group CEO, Mr. Serame Taukobong, who reminded us that for the first time in modern history, Africa is at the starting line of a revolution. And so we have the power to shape our participation in that revolution. Day one reminded us that technology is as powerful as the people it serves. Speakers reflected on the importance of internet access and the key role and responsibility that the sector has in infrastructure deployment as an enabler to access. Speakers reinforced that next generation infrastructure fiber, data centers, cloud, 5G, are the foundational layer enabling Africa's digital leap. These networks are the highways that carry every digital service of the future. And as Serame put it forward to us, it's not just the highways of data, it's the highways of people's dreams. Our highlight panel yesterday tackled the crucial theme of localization, acknowledging that AI trained on foreign data sets cannot fully understand or solve Africa's problems. With over 2,000 languages on the continent, AI must reflect who we are. There was a clear emphasis on AI models being mirrors, and that if the environment is biased, the algorithm will be biased. We reflected on the importance of ethical frameworks on transparency and responsible AI to mitigate risks early in the innovation lifecycle. We then had a very thought-provoking and challenging presentation from our futurist Graham. Graham challenged us. He urged us to stretch our imaginations about what AI could do for humanity and for our future. What would that look like? What would that mean for us? Could we even communicate with the animals? And while that might be possibly down the line, the biggest takeaway was that we're all in the room because we have the passion, the knowledge, and the skills to actually influence the future of innovation in Africa. But that equally comes with a big responsibility. We need to figure out what the real problems are that actually need fixing. We need to ask the tough questions that no one else dares to ask. Because ultimately, the most innovative people and companies aren't just solving problems. They're simply better at finding problems, better problems to solve. Day 2 was equally as thought-provoking. We focused on the technical backbone of infrastructure, AI, and operational excellence. Today, we explored infrastructure reliability and ensuring resilience and the importance of maintenance of this infrastructure. We explored the importance of predictive maintenance and autonomous operations. A critical conversation was also examined on the dual role of AI and cybersecurity, both as a threat and as a defense. With global cybercrime projected, impacting countries, organizations, leveraging AI for early detection, anomaly detection, and real-time response is in fact mission critical. At the application layer, we saw powerful demonstration of AI's potential. AI used in marine, logistics, used in supply chain, AI used for translation, as we heard a multilingual Afrikaner, Sesotho, and English AI speaker there. We saw how AI is not just abstract, but is being used in different sectors across the world. Our closing plenary, the closing panel was also exciting. We started off with a drive with the group CEO, anchoring the conversation on sustainability. The panel shared on the importance of the conversation on e-mobility and enabling policies to support it. As Africa builds, scales, and modernizes infrastructure, we must ensure green, future-proof, and equitability. This aligns with global commitments. While Africa contributes less than 4% of global emissions, we face the highest climate change vulnerability. In this conference, we also celebrated excellence with the closing component of the conference. A heartfelt congratulations to all of the Satnac Innovation Challenge winners, the paper winners as well. Thank you to the industry partners who guided them, the academics, the practitioners who reviewed the posters, and every mentor who helped shape what we saw today. On behalf of the local organizing committee of the Satnac conference, a deep appreciation to the Telcom Group Executive, the Group CEO, the ExCo that was present here today, and I think we have to give a round of applause to the last man standing, our chairman who's still in the room. To our sponsors, our key stakeholders, the sponsors, the academics, government partners, industry leaders, delegates, your contribution sustains this platform. We invite you to the rest of the breakaways for the rest of the day, the student posters, the exhibition upstairs, and join us as we close with a bang at the farewell this evening. Thank you very much and see you again next year.
Just a quick last announcement from me before you go to lunch. The app, again, it's got your transport shuttle details. So now if you really haven't downloaded the app, you need to, because how are you going to get home if you need to get home? And also, those of you who haven't already taken it, please, a set of VRs on your table in front of you, they're yours. Those of you who snuck it in your bag, there was no need. It's yours, so please make sure that you go out with one. Thank you and see you later.